This is kind of weird. Just a bit. Did we hit roll on the audio? No. Fuck!
Pour the beer back in.
No, it's okay. Shh. We have it on the camera audio.
Take two.
Take two. Well, take one, but we're continuing it. What's up, everybody? We're not redoing the intro. We're just gonna use the audio from the camera. Because we can.
We can.
I forgot to hit record on the audio.
You know, this is representative of what this video is.
That's
what is this video? We have, not of this exact moment,
yes,
to be clear.
Inches away.
We're at like 99.9.
I can tell you exactly what
thousand subscribers.
So we are currently, at this moment that we're recording, but by the moment this video goes live, we will have easily surpassed this because we've been inching towards it for days now. You're getting a call from, oh, okay, never mind. We are at 99,835 subscribers at this exact moment.
We are that close.
2 days ago, we were at 99,400. So either tomorrow or the next day, we're gonna have 100,000 subscribers.
100,000 subscribers. Why did we do that whole bit? Because that was all a lot of things that we never expected that we were gonna be doing.
Yeah. We've come a really long way.
Cases, the Vulp,
Balisongs.
Our favorite, this is at least my favorite cider.
It's definitely up there for me.
Which we are using to celebrate. We will be drinking many of them.
Our own cups.
Merch mugs. So that's a lot of stuff. That is all because of you wonderful people that have hit that red, beautiful little button. And it's just surreal. So what are we gonna be doing? You saw the title.
Q&A, baby.
Q&A it up. So we've never actually done one of these.
100K Q&A.
Wow, I thought this wasn't scripted.
It's not, but I
am stupid.
Okay.
Yes, he wrote Queesions.
I did write Queesions.
He wrote Queesions.
Yeah, it says Queesions instead of questions on the list.
But so this is gonna be actually casual. We are known for our chaos that we generate. And so we're gonna be ourselves, and naturally that's gonna lead to some form of chaos.
We are chaotic people.
But we've never done a Q&A. We've answered a lot of questions from a lot of different people in different capacities at different times, whether it's in a comment or it's in a live stream. Not us live streaming. Maybe we'll do live streaming one day.
Eventually.
But like in chat sections of live streams and stuff, especially on our Discord, our Patreon Discord, where we have a section where you can ask us questions directly.
Yes.
But for the masses, we've never done any kind of Q&A thing.
Yes.
Nor extensively talked about kind of our history as friends, our history as Balisong flippers.
We have a lot of history.
What we want to do, how the fuck we even got here in the first place. So there's a lot of stuff that there's a lot to talk about.
So what we've done is, the main thing we did is we asked these questions from our patrons. So I actually created a new channel on our Discord server that only the patrons could access, that they could ask us these questions for the 100K celebration thing. So we have questions from them. We also, though, looked on YouTube for a few questions and Instagram for a few questions. So there's a couple of questions sprinkled in from regular viewers, but it's primarily patron questions. And yeah, we have them split up into a few different categories, so it's at least a little more coherent. But it's just gonna be us talking,
we're gonna do very minimal editing to this, minus this random thing that Will puts on my face.
Wow, you really just did that to me. Wow.
We love to sign each other up.
Throw me under the bus like that.
We love to sign each other up for extra work, but we're almost always willing to do it.
That's also true. That's extremely
But yeah, we have them in different sections. And we're just gonna go through it. This is gonna be a very unedited thing. So make a snack, get some tea.
Get some tea.
Maybe listen to this on the way to work, download it on the YouTube thing.
It's gonna be pretty long. This is more like a podcast.
Yeah, but we're just sitting here vibing. We're gonna talk about all of a ton of different Balisongs, talk about the Vulp, talk about everything involved in getting us to 100,000 subscribers.
I can't believe we're here. Yeah. Okay, so let's get into these questions that we've got going on. So first up are historical type questions. Questions about us and our history, yes. Okay, do you want to go with the one from Noah Bin first?
Noah_Bin with a little smiley face too. Excellent touch.
Yep, that is a smiley face and not a Japanese character. That is right, Brandon. Go get him, tiger.
How we met. We met like 15 years ago now.
Yeah, it's been
quite
a while.
More than half of our lives ago.
I was about to say that we met in high school, but that's not true.
Yeah, we technically met We went to the same elementary school.
Yes.
In Texas, and it's a very, very small school. We actually arrived there at the same time. It was 5th grade.
5th grade, okay. I was about to say, it was either 5th or 6th.
It was separate home rooms that we were in. So
we knew of each other.
I knew you as the kid that would often answer questions somewhat aggressively in science class.
Yes.
That was the only thing I knew about Will.
I loved science.
And you were known at the time for being what? I'm curious what you think you were known for.
Oh,
at the
dude,
time.
I have no idea. I think I repressed all of that.
Small.
Oh, yeah, I was very short.
Yeah,
short boy.
Little high-pitched voice.
Yeah.
I had really weird, long, straight hair.
Oh, I remember
at the
that.
time, yeah, it was before my hair used to because it curls a little bit now naturally.
Yeah.
It used to be very straight. And before that, it was a buzz cut.
When we met, it looked like
would have
you
been buzz
straightened
cut. And then I grew it out because I was, rebellious 6th grader at that time. But yeah, so that's where we officially met. But yeah, we didn't actually become friends until high school.
Yep.
And of course, knew of each other.
Yep. We got into in high school, we became better friends, and we became more acquaintances, I'd say, through mutual friends.
Yes.
And then
we were both part of the weird group.
Exactly.
Of people.
And then over time, from being mutual, knowing one another and being mutual friends, we then, at some point, I asked you, would you want to come shoot a video with us?
Yes, and that happened. It was our junior year, and we had Spanish class together. I think it was one of the only classes we had ever had together.
Can you tell Brandon has a better memory than me?
I am a history nerd.
Yes.
For those that I do love history.
That's true.
That's actually in high school what I did was an academic competition based on history. I like history. That's why there's a lot of random historical jokes in our videos where I'll randomly put oh, hey, here's a quote. It actually won in the Prisma review where I quote myself and then I put December 7th, 1941.
Yes.
So stuff like that. But no, yeah, we were in Spanish class. And I don't think we had ever had an actual class together. Even whenever we had home rooms and stuff, we were never in the same homeroom or anything like that. But yeah, so it was our junior year and we happened to be assigned sitting next to each other in Spanish class.
Yeah,
and that's when we really, you had a laptop similar to this one.
We hit it off. And
you would show me a lot of the stuff that you were working on. And our good friend Daniel, who was unfortunately no longer with us, he was kind of he's who you initially made videos with.
Yes.
And you can find almost every single one of those videos still on the Will Hirsch channel.
I have not deleted a single one of our older videos, and I think that there's questions that will get into that as well. But those videos very much are all still on the channel. I left all the legacy videos intact, and so it was
you and Daniel making videos together. And you guys have been doing that for a while. And then, it came to you wanted somebody else to make stuff with. And I had dabbled in the YouTube realm. I had a separate YouTube channel. I had made random, the most cringy videos you've ever seen, and they don't exist anymore. They only exist on a dead hard drive that maybe will be fixed eventually. But I had done stuff on YouTube, and I grew up I had a camcorder, and I used to make Lego movies and everything like that. Tons of different things. So I'd always been interested in it. But it was Will that came to me and was like, hey, do you want to be in a video?
Yeah.
And that video is called Tootsie.
Tootsie is such a good video.
And it's an action short of me and Daniel fighting over Tootsie Rolls, and that was when Will was the cameraman.
Yeah, I was the director,
and the editor,
the writer, the editor, the cameraman. I did basically everything production-wise on the videos, because that was something there's a question in here that what got us into making videos, and so I'll get into that when the time comes. But I was very much the person that was into video creation at that point in our lives, and so when I invited Brandon to come kind of be a part of that, I was already well into the whole thing. I was inundated with video production, and I was wanting to do it.
But we didn't really have any, at that point, didn't have any formal training on it. We didn't have a filmmaking course. There was a digital media class that existed.
That I ran.
There wasn't a dedicated, because it was a small school, very
extremely
small.
Our
graduating class was 80 people.
80 people in the graduating class. I think my husband Joe's graduating class was 3,000 or something like that.
The population of the school was larger than the town. If that puts it in perspective.
Yeah.
But so you were just kind of going through watching people like Corridor Digital and Freddie Wong and those kinds of people.
Yeah, super inspired by all that stuff. And so it dragged me into this like space of wanting to make videos and stuff like that. And so that was when me and you started to get along together more. I think that's what brought us into the now. So yeah, that's how we met. We met in school. That was fun. Okay, so I think similarly in terms of how we met, I think this is a two-person question because I feel like I'll have to answer and then you'll have to answer.
Okay.
But there's what got y'all into Balisongs? From Lancelot. Thank you, Lancelot. Okay, so for me, because I got into Balisongs first.
Yes.
The thing that got me into Balisongs really was the spy from TF2. I watched the Meet the Spy video and he does the little thing and I was just like, I want to do that. I was very impressed with the move in the Meet the Spy video and I just thought that was really cool. And from that point on, I made my first Balisong literally out of paper and toothpicks.
Yeah.
And then
I never saw that actually.
Yeah, it was paper and you take each layer of the paper and you have a glue stick. And you take a glue stick and then you take the paper and glue it to itself. And then you take another layer of paper and glue it to that. And then you essentially have a piece of wood afterwards.
Yeah.
And then you cut it out with an X-Acto knife and add all the parts using super glue and sticks. And that's how I made my first Balisong.
Well, and I know you were interested in it because you've always been into like hand dexterity kind of stuff. So it wasn't just, oh, that looks cool. Like you've done magic tricks for a long time.
Magic.
I know you've done juggling for a long time.
Yeah.
Dancing for a long time. That's its own kind of
many things.
Dexterity kind of thing. So yeah, Balisongs I feel like was a pretty natural evolution.
Yep.
And a more adult evolution perhaps of kind of stuff you were moving into, being that most of them are. That's not a live blade. Here it is. Live blade.
Yes.
That kind of stuff. But yeah, so I guess that, what year would that have been?
Oh, geez, it's like 2011 probably, 2012 at the latest.
And then it was probably slow a little bit in terms of your process of getting into stuff.
Yeah, so
I know that the earliest documentation of a Balisong in a video was one that we actually made with Daniel.
Yep.
And that's, it's called Clever Gaming Reference.
Clever Gaming Reference is the first time we featured a Balisong in one of our videos.
Yes. And I didn't even know like what they were at the time. I remember shooting that.
I had got a Balisong comb. And that's what we used for the video. And that was to reference the spy from Team Fortress 2, obviously. So, yeah, for me, I got into Balisongs around 2011, 2012, and then I actually started taking them more seriously around 2014 when I graduated high school. Yeah. Because I started to realize more about the Balisong community existing at that point, and so I found out more about it, and I started taking it much more seriously. And then in 2016, that's when I went to my first Blade show here in Atlanta.
Okay, yeah, because you had just moved.
I had just moved.
You went to Full Sail University, and that's when you really got more involved with them.
Yep.
Did you graduate? What's your degree? A bachelor's?
Bachelor's of Science in film and television.
Yeah. So in 2016, you moved to Atlanta.
Yep.
And then and Blade Show, the Blade Show proper takes place in Atlanta.
Yeah, and
how convenient.
Yeah, how convenient. It was really nice. That's where I got to meet people like Stitch that were like, makers in the hobby who were already doing really impressive stuff. I got to meet other people in the hobby. And that was after the point as well that I was already on Instagram. I had gotten on Instagram. I had gotten more into the community. And so by 2016, from 2014 to 2016, that's when I got more integrated. And then 2016 is when I really went and I did it. I went to Blade Show. That was my first Blade Show, and so I was really in it. So what got you into Balisongs, Brandon?
Well, so it's interesting because, Will and I have obviously known each other for a long time, and we were very, very close. But when you went to college, our lives completely diverged.
Yes.
We grew up in Texas. Will moved to Florida.
Yeah, I got out of there. I went straight out of there.
As almost everybody should.
I was so
Texas has its moments, but...
Ooh, doggy. Not that Florida's much better, but...
Yeah, Florida's its own can of worms. But no, so yeah, our lives kind of diverged at that point. I went to community college at the small town in Texas that we lived near. But I wasn't involved with it at all. I had no knowledge of Will really getting into Balisongs at that stage. I knew he had a couple, but not getting to the level that obviously he's at. So for me, it really became a thing. You would come back to visit Texas, I believe in 2018. And by that point you were really actively flipping, but you hadn't even made a Balisong collection video yet.
I was about to when I got back. That was when I was about to make the first one. Because remember, it's my Balisong collection 2018. I made it not long after I got back from that trip.
But I think I
didn't plan to make that video. Let's be clear.
Yes,
I wasn't visiting Brandon and I was like, afterwards, I'm gonna make this one video. That was not how it went. So.
But in short, you got me into it. I think you had one, and I thought it was cool. And then at one point, you had messaged me about squiddies being available. Like, oh, you should get a squiddy. And at that time, it was a drop.
Yeah.
It was a drop of squiddies. It was not
squiddies weren't available all the time. Yeah. That's right.
So I had to
drops.
I in terms of history of me, I was a waiter, and then I was a cook at a restaurant, and then I was a blackjack dealer at the world's largest casino, which is in Oklahoma. So I was working there at the time. Why did I bring that up? I was working
all your different jobs.
Oh yes, yeah. So I had a bunch of different things going on. So I was not, even at that time, I wasn't really doing filmmaking stuff. At the time, I had a drone and I had a camera and I was doing photography, but I was not doing videography. But I was at the casino whenever I had to order it, and it had specifically been available for a specific time frame, but I had to go out for my, it's called a push, for an hour and a half, and I missed it. And I was terrified the whole push that I wasn't gonna be able to get a squiddy. Because I figured by the time I was back an hour and a half later, they were all gonna be sold out. They were not sold out. Wow. I don't have that squiddy with me, but it does still exist. It's very broken. It hasn't cracked, or it hasn't broken, but it has if cracked. I flip it anymore, it's going to break. So that thing's a relic.
Something that's wild that I don't think most people know is right now on the Squid Industries Squiddy, the logo is here on the blade like it is with the other products. Also, can I just say, I literally didn't notice this until right now. This is upside down?
Oh yes, it's right side up. Yeah, what the fuck?
Why is it right side up on the Squiddy but not the other products? Anyways.
And then also glider.
Aggression.
Glider, I love you. Aggressive.
So the logo is here now on the Squiddies, right?
Yeah.
It used to be on the handle, but not just that, it used to be a sticker.
I hardly know her.
On the handle. So Brandon's Squiddy, being that old of a Squiddy, literally has a sticker on the handle where the logo was. Yeah. So that's wild. All right,
that was technically, I think that was the first one that I got, or that I bought, but you had given me a really, what is now considered a really crappy clone at a convention that we had both gone to in Atlanta.
It was like it wasn't even a clone. It was one of those Benchmade adjacent stainless steel sandwich ones.
Yeah.
So like it wasn't a clone. I think it was a comb.
Yeah, it's a comb.
And it was just a stainless steel Benchmade adjacent one from China. You know how it is.
Yeah. And you had taught me, I think that was the first thing you taught me, was teaching me to do a rollover like that.
Yeah, the spy move.
Yeah, so that's what got me into it initially. And then I was still living in Texas, but then I had a whole bunch of stuff happen in my life that eventually led me to making the move to Atlanta. And then moved to Atlanta, and I needed to kind of prove myself as a videographer. And so Will was like, hey, I have a couple Balisong videos. You want to shoot one with me? I'm like, I don't have a camera. Oh, we can use Will's husband, Joe. We can use Joe's camera.
Yep.
Okay, sure. And over 3 years later, here we are at 100,000 subscribers.
God. So the video will cut every like 30 minutes or so because Brandon's camera can only record for like 30 minutes.
Why you gotta shit on my camera, bro?
You're welcome.
Buy me a new one.
We're working on that.
You're rich now because you released a Balisong, right? Wow. No, we split the revenue.
I wish
for now.
Oh. Yeah, we do. We split the revenue 50-50, actually.
You do? Yeah, do we want to disclose that?
Yeah, why not?
50-50. We split revenue 50-50.
Little tidbit.
I did the math. I actually did the math. I said this to people in a stream. If we took all the revenue that we have generated from YouTube AdSense alone in the last 3 years, we could buy a base level Kia Soul.
That's
so we
good.
won't say the exact amount. I don't even know currently the exact amount, but you could buy a Kia Soul from like 2021
one of us, if we didn't split it, could buy a Kia
if
Soul.
we didn't split it, collectively could buy a Kia Soul.
Wow, that's not...
So there you go.
Over how many years?
No, that's like buy it outright.
No, I mean...
Oh, 3 years.
Yeah, that's not great, actually.
Yeah. Given that's just YouTube AdSense. Our total revenue is definitely not just YouTube AdSense.
Yes, thank God.
One of them is the patrons.
Speaking
of patrons, what's our next question?
Right, okay. Lily asks, did you ever think you'd hit 100K?
Nope.
No.
Well, and so this is an interesting to dive into. And it weirdly kind of makes it easier in a way. You and I have always probably had a childhood dream of being able to be a content creator and be successful in some way.
Yes.
But it was at no point really, even up to now, at least for me, hasn't been like, we need to make this so that we are more successful. It's much more been just a motivation. We want to do it.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And if it is successful, great, cool. And of course, as we've gotten more popular and we've been more financially reliant on the YouTube channel, we've had to, of course, make hard decisions in terms of like what to prioritize. And that's something you and I going back and forth on a lot. It's like, what do we want to produce? When do we want to produce it? Why do we want to produce it? Is that the most efficient thing to produce at the moment? There's a lot of questions that go into it, but still, the vast majority of it has just been, hey, yeah, this would be fun. And we would be doing a lot of this anyway.
Yeah.
Like whether we got 1 view or 100,000 views, we just enjoy doing it.
It's true. I think for me, I think it's a very interesting experience because I have been making videos on YouTube for more than a decade at this point, which is weird to think about.
My first YouTube videos were in 2008, I think.
Yeah.
2008 or 2009.
And I've been making them on this channel that long, though. That's weird to think about it, because this is the same channel I've had my entire YouTube career.
Yeah.
And I started doing it because I just loved making videos, and I wanted to keep doing that. I wanted to keep making videos, and I wanted to just do art and whatever. And so, like, me and Brandon have talked about, at length, the fact that we are doing this because we enjoy the process. We enjoy making the videos. We enjoy the artistry behind it. We enjoy, you know, when we have a gag that requires me to do like 7 hours of visual effects for a 2-second long flamethrower gag.
Yeah.
We do it because we love it. I love doing visual effects. And so I'm not mad at the fact that I'm doing this like 8-hour long visual effect that is insanely complex, because I love it. Like that's half of the journey for me, is doing that stuff and how much fun it is.
It's like a reward in a way.
It is.
It's like, especially from a creative standpoint, it's like, it's challenging yourself. It's like, because a lot of those, part of that 8 hours is, how the crap am I gonna do this?
Yeah.
Not necessarily, I know exactly how to do it and it's going to take me 8 hours. It's, how do I do it?
Yeah.
And then whenever you figure it out, it's like, that's fucking cool. That
Exactly.
feels good.
Exactly. And I think, I don't know, I just think it's really interesting where like our videos, when we make them because we enjoy them, but also we have been very, very distinct about the fact that we have made videos not for you guys. And I hate to put it this way, but we make videos not for our viewers, we make them for us.
Yeah.
We make the videos
we try to
that
make ourselves
we want
laugh.
to see. We want to see the video that we end up making. And so really half of the jokes in the videos sometimes are literally just inside jokes for us.
Yeah, literally only us.
Yeah.
That only you and I would probably ever get. But that's what we enjoy doing. So in terms of hitting 100,000 subscribers, doing, because it like, I hate to like pat ourselves on the back or anything, but like, it's been a very pure journey.
Yeah.
It hasn't been a financially motivated thing.
No.
Or like, you know, oh yeah, I'm gonna go super hard into this. We've talked about, like, we actually had a conversation because we both work freelance.
Yeah, this also will kind of go into Ogarath's question, which is, what do you guys do other than make videos?
Okay, yes,
So,
yeah.
but
yeah, okay, yeah, so
thank you,
thank you
Ogarath.
for that question. So yeah, so I'm a videographer / editor. And then Will is a professional sound mixer for
I do
movies and TV.
Movies and TV.
And like
sound
big
mixing.
movies and stuff like that. He's done a ton of incredible stuff. And that's part of what motivated me to move here, was it was like, oh my gosh, look at all this cool stuff there is to do.
Yeah.
In Texas, the most I could do was like some random corporate ad.
Yeah,
Oh, look at
commercial
you go.
stuff.
Look at you go. Beautiful.
But yeah, that's the best part about the
Wait,
Titan.
wait.
Titan Twins.
Titan Twins.
A whole new world.
But no, so we have day jobs. We still have day jobs. A lot of people think that this is at a point that we can just do it all the time and that we're just, this is our main job, but it's not. And it also can't really be our main job. Like it could if we wanted to be underpaid at the end of the day.
Yeah, underpaid and
but
struggling.
It's getting, because of
it's
the
getting better.
It's getting much better, and actually to a point where in the next year, at least for me, I could be doing this kind of stuff full time.
Yeah.
But
right now we're not.
But in terms of having to balance the number of things that we've had to balance, like balancing our day jobs and balancing our careers, like even currently right now, outside of all of the YouTube stuff, I actively work for 6 different clients.
Wow.
And that is on average about 4 to 4.5 days a week that I'm working for those other clients, usually at least 10 hours a day.
Yep.
And then on top doing all the YouTube stuff, which is learning how to flip, learning how to edit, doing new shooting techniques, doing all the B-roll that's required, doing all the planning for all the stuff that we do. And then you've been having to balance all the development on all the different things that we've been doing.
Yes, I have.
Plus edit videos, plus host videos and write videos, and do your day job, which working in the film industry, that could be a whole 2-hour thing in itself.
Yeah.
Obviously those are very long days.
It gets very long. And so like what this gets into is, so in terms of my job outside of making these videos, I do sound in the film industry, as Brandon said, and that the film industry jobs are very difficult because outside of stuff where you're like editing for a company, most jobs when you're actually on a set are going to be jobs that take up a very large part of your life hours-wise.
Yeah.
So you'll end up being on set usually for at least 10 hours, if not upwards of 12 hours.
Yeah.
And so, for instance, this week on Monday and Tuesday, we're filming this on a Friday. On Monday and Tuesday, I had 2 gigs that both took at least 12 hours to do. One of them was in a warehouse in the really, really hot weather with no air conditioning. And then the other one was outside the entire day, 2 hours away. And so I think it probably won't be too surprising to people that like, when I get home from a 12-hour day on a shoot like that, I don't really want to edit these videos or like do stuff for the channel and stuff, but I kind of have to at sometimes. So it's, I don't know, it's weird, but it's really nice because at the end of the day, while I do really love doing the film stuff I do, this is what I've wanted to do my whole life. Like I have been doing YouTube for such a long time because it has been the thing that has inspired me for such a long time, watching Freddie W, watching Corridor Digital, watching all of these, because visual effects is where I got started. You know, I watched all these people doing visual effects on YouTube and I was like, I want to learn to do that.
Yeah.
And so I tried it and I did it. And that's why we have the weird, stupid visual effects that we do in our videos now, is because of everything I learned back then.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, it's an interesting history, but I think it's kind of neat.
And I think in terms of answering the question, did you ever think we'd get to 100,000 subscribers? Yeah. I think that just kind of comes down to, honestly, no, just because we've never been able to make this like a full 100% priority.
Yeah.
And of course, in the grand scheme of YouTube, 100,000 subscribers is not a ton. No. I think at 100,000 subscribers on Social Blade, it says that means we're like ranked 215,000 or something like that. So there are 215,000 more people, or 250,000 people that have more subscribers than us.
And
that's a lot of people.
Is that in all of YouTube, or is that in your geographic area?
That's all of YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, in a geographic area, that would be smaller.
Yeah.
But in terms of like we obviously put a ton of work into the videos that we do, but given that it hasn't been able to be like a full 100% full-time thing, getting to the point that we have has just been pretty crazy. So getting to 100,000, we were blown away whenever I saw messages that I go back and look at sometimes where I'm like, oh my gosh, the Balisong collection video for 2019 got 1.2 thousand views in 4 days.
Yeah.
And I was like over the moon about that. That was so exciting. And now it's like if a video got 1.2 thousand views in 4 days, we would be crying, laying on the floor. Yeah, we'd be
like, oh
like,
no,
what did we
something's
do wrong?
Horrible has happened. Yeah, it is funny how your perspective shifts, and it kind of has to, unfortunately, because if you have 200 subscribers and in 2 days you get 2,000 views, that's great.
Yeah.
But if you have 100,000 subscribers and in 2 days you get 2,000 views, that's really not great because compared to your subscriber count, the percentage of people watching your video is very low.
Yeah.
And so that's the problem there.
Yeah.
That's why your perspective kind of has to shift when it comes to the numbers. The numbers need to shift as well in terms of their percentage relative to your subscriber growth.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was pretty cool. Let's see here. So Clockwork asks, thank you Clockwork, if you could tell your younger content creating self or any other younger Bali content creators anything in terms of advice or anything of the sort, what would it be? And that's really hard. I think we should both have our own answers to that.
The first thing that came to mind is, because I get a lot of questions from people, and I try to respond to as many people as I can, but it is getting more and more every day,
yeah.
Especially on Instagram, but I do try to respond to as many people as I can. I think the biggest thing, which kind of goes into what Will and I were just talking about, is be willing to take the time to go on the search and the hunt for what you actually enjoy doing. Because there's a lot of influences for a lot of different things and a lot of different places that you can get influenced by. But there's a lot of stuff in life that it's like, on paper, that would be really, really, really cool. Or I think that would be a lot of fun. And then you actually do it and you would find out, oh my gosh, I love this. And maybe additionally, and I'm really good at it. Or that sucked.
Yeah.
I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
And then figuring out why you don't like it and can you get to like it. But I think one of the biggest things, like, you know, whenever people look at like us having made or done everything that we've done on YouTube, is that there's some kind of roadmap that, oh, if I just do this and then I do this and then I do this and then I do this, I'll be a successful content creator. And reality is, it's a lot of good timing and a lot of luck and a whole lot of hard work that gets you to that point. But in terms of somebody that's young, like, don't feel like you have to have the best stuff. You can make a lot of stuff on just a phone these days.
Yep.
And just take the time to learn things. And don't be afraid to screw up. Almost every single thing that I made when I was young, I cringe at now. But if I cringe at it, that means I've gotten better. Even videos from a couple years ago, I look back at some of the shots I've done or compositions I've done, I'm like, that wasn't great. Why did I do that? Because I didn't know.
Yep.
So I think that be willing to explore what you actually enjoy. Because I think that's what we found. We've both fallen into what we really enjoy doing and have made incremental changes within that. But I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't actually enjoy it.
Yeah.
And whenever it comes to content creation, it is hard to do YouTube. It is very hard to be a Balisong content creator. Just think about what you have to be good at. You have to be good at writing, good at hosting, good at editing, good at videography, and good at flipping.
Yeah. It is a lot of stuff.
And probably have somebody additional to film flipping clips for you. That's a lot of things.
That's a lot of things
that you have to be good at. So that's kind of, so within that list of things, trying to find, do I actually enjoy that?
Yeah.
Do I like being on camera? Do I like flipping Balisongs? Do I like editing? Do I like doing camera work? Is it possible for me to do it? I think those are the kind of the questions to ask yourself.
I think that's a great point. And for me, I think my advice is very similar to that, in the sense of, I think, you know, if you want to pursue something as a content creator, I think that the best thing that can help you succeed, other than random luck and chance, is making stuff about stuff that you are genuinely interested in.
Yeah.
Because I believe, from my experience and from what I've been told and the experience of others, I believe that people really do enjoy watching content created by people who really genuinely enjoy what they're talking about.
Yeah.
I think that is one of the most important things. And I think it's really interesting to see that stuff. I will watch videos all the time, and I know there's people that watch our channel who don't know anything about Balisong.
Yeah.
But they'll do it, and I'll watch videos about like Smash Brothers Melee. I don't know anything about Melee. I have never actually played Melee except for very fleeting moments at parties, because I never owned a 64. I never had any of that stuff. And so
you have to answer now. What's your main?
Oh God, Kirby.
Kirby.
I like Kirby. Kirby's the worst
like
character.
Lucario too, right?
Yeah, but Kirby's one of the worst characters in Melee, but I love them.
Yeah. Mine is Link.
But the reason I like
the
Kirby,
original Smash Brothers on the N64.
Wow.
It's been Link. Yeah.
The reason I like Kirby was Melee GameCube.
Yeah. Melee
Oh wow!
Yeah.
See, this is how you can tell I'd never owned it. So I never had a GameCube either. The thing is, right, I like watching these videos because there's people who are really passionate talking about the mechanics of how everything works and why it works, and it's so cool to listen to them because you can tell they really care.
Yeah.
They really care. And like, I get hyped up about that. When I see someone like break down a clip of like how something happened that they genuinely care about, I'm like, whoa, that's so cool. And so for me, my biggest advice that I could ever give someone is, you know, do something that you're genuinely passionate about, that you genuinely care about, and let that through, let that shine through. That's something I try to do. I really care about Balisongs, and I want that to shine through in all of the videos. I also really care about making videos in general. You know, that's been something that's really driven me since I was young, is making content, producing stuff. I've done videos and production stuff. Even before I was on YouTube, I was making stupid little videos using, my stepfather, Greg, had a Walkman. Oh. Not a Walkman, the personal, like
Flip HD?
No, not a camera.
Like a camcorder?
Like a personal,
I had one too.
A BlackBerry type thing. Do you know what I'm talking about?
A BlackBerry.
Like a
camcorder?
No, not a camera. A personal like phone thing before smartphones existed.
Oh, like a PDA?
Like a PDA, yeah. Like a BlackBerry PDA.
Oh, okay.
He had like an old BlackBerry device that happened to have a camera. And I used that before ever working on anything YouTube related to film stuff with my friend Braxton in his backyard.
Oh,
and like, that is crazy, right? And I was doing that before YouTube like even really existed. And so like, I don't know, it just, for me, I've always been drawn to content creation and making videos and stuff like that. And so it's been something that's genuinely passionate. It's driven me in a very passionate way. And I'm just a passionate person in general, I'd say. And so, yeah, I just, if you can have something that you genuinely care about, you know, don't do a YouTube channel just because you see someone else doing it and you think that you could, or you think that, you know, it might be cool. Do it because you really think it's cool. Do it because you really care, because that will be the thing that makes it for you.
Yeah, I agree. That's great. I think your journey, obviously you went to film school.
Yes.
I did not go to film school.
No.
I am almost entirely self-taught with everything that I've done. So that's where like I had that same passion, but I wasn't as confident as you were in terms of exploring that passion.
Totally.
So that's where for me, it was not I went to high school and then I went to film school and then I got a job in film. I was a blackjack dealer.
Yep.
I cleared my hands every day. Probably gave myself preliminary arthritis from doing it. But that's what I was doing. And honestly, it was within that I was thinking about, what do I actually want to do? And it was this. So that's pretty surreal that I get to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So anyways, okay, so thank you, Clockwork, for that question. Desuko Flips asks, do you still have moves? The dubstep dance video was legendary.
Does he?
So I do still have moves. I'll let you guys in a little bit on my dance background. So I have been doing dance stuff for a very long time, basically almost as long as I've been doing video stuff. I saw, the thing that really got me into it was the Pumped Up Kicks video by, oh my God, Nonstop. There we go. The Pumped Up Kicks video by Nonstop that he did way back in the day. That inspired me to learn to do animation dance. And ever since then, I've learned a bunch of different types of dance. Popping, locking, bone breaking, animation.
Twist it. Pull it.
Bop it. all different kinds of animation, and that's turned me into a all styles freestyle type dancer. And so yeah, dancing is very much a part of who I am, and I kind of fell out of practice of it in 2020 or so when the pandemic happened, and so I'm kind of working my way back into it. But I can still do weird stuff like this.
Yeah,
so,
delicious.
Gotta love it. Oh. Yeah. Excellent. And I can still tut too. That's the other thing. That's actually what I've had the most practice in recently has been tutting, because it's just easy to practice when you're alone at home or whatever. Yeah. I can just like do this to music wherever I am, and it's not too hard to do. So yeah, I do still dance. It is something that I enjoy, but it's not something that I have made many videos about. And I think the biggest reason for that is just the copyright system on YouTube. It's very hard to make dance videos because they inherently have copyrightability because you use copyrighted music. So okay. What do you guys do other than make videos? We already talked about that.
Yeah, we kind of touched on that. I think we could circle back to that.
Sure.
Like if I separate myself from all YouTube related things, I very much like to travel. Some of my favorite trips have been to Hawaii. I did a solo trip to Hawaii. It was very fun. I just did a road trip from Georgia to Maine with my family. That was a lot of fun. Very much enjoyed that. Of course, I bring my Balisongs with me.
In your case.
In my Balisong case. Yes.
Wow.
Cases.Hirsch.gay.
In the middle of this long reel video.
But yeah, that, video games. I love pretty much every form of video game, from retro games as old as
time.
Atari kind of stuff, old arcade machines and everything like that.
You've got
I grew up with a Nintendo 64.
Little emulator thing on your keychain, don't you?
Yes, I do. It's over there.
I'm gonna go grab it for you.
Yeah. So I love video games in general. Mostly single player stuff, not necessarily multiplayer stuff. Yeah, I do have this little boy. This has been featured in some B-roll before. It's called the Funky S, and it can play basically anything from the 70s up to PlayStation 1 games.
That thing is so cool.
And I have a bunch of my different games on here.
I cannot believe PS1 fits in that now.
I know. Here's some. It's about to die, so hopefully we'll get to this.
Go.
Here's some. Here's some Crash Bandicoot. You might not be able to see it, but this is actual Crash Bandicoot on a little handheld that is the size of my key fob. So
that is the coolest thing. I'm so jealous.
I know, it's so much fun and weirdly usable. Yeah. So I love that. A lot of VR. VR actually just recently got a Valve Index.
Yeah.
Which was not cheap, but it's very good.
It's so good.
Do that. We kayak.
Yeah, kayak.
That's our biggest thing. There's a river where we live in Georgia called the Chattahoochee River, which happens to be really good.
On the Chattahoochee.
There you go. Yee. But yeah, that is something that we haven't gotten to do as much this year because we're very busy people.
Yep.
But we've done a lot of kayaking. I grew up playing tennis and golf. I actually went to state in tennis and got third place with my younger brother in high school in the whole state in doubles tennis. I do a lot of that. And that's kind of it for me. I cook a lot. Worship the Dark Lord.
Oh, a whole new one. Yeah, I have an obnoxious number of hobbies. Anyone who knows me knows that. Obviously, I'm into Balisongs, I'm into magic, I'm into juggling, I'm into guitar, I'm into...
You have a guitar, you have a keyboard.
Music in general, music production, I DJ, I dance, God, what else do I do?
Who do you think is more ADHD of us two?
Basically, if there's a hobby, I'm probably into it in some capacity. I have tried yo-yo, kendama, all sorts of stuff like that. Graphic design, I love.
Oh yes, I do a lot of Photoshop.
Yeah.
But photography. I guess that's not video making. Do a lot of photography.
Weirdly, one of the things I've never actually been into is photography, which is strange. But yeah, that is funny. Considering all of my other interests, I mean,
you know how to take a good photo.
Yes, but it's not something I've ever seeked out to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have a plethora of hobbies that I'm into, and anybody who knows me knows that, and it's just kind of crazy. So I'm into a lot of stuff. Okay, Hioni asks, this is a two-parter, so one of them's for me and one of them's for you. Hioni asks, Will, in one of your vlogs, you mentioned you started learning Japanese. How's that been going? I did. I started learning Japanese in one of my vlogs, and unfortunately, I kind of fell off of it. And the reason for that is literally just because of how busy things have gotten with YouTube. I have gotten back into it and back out of it, and the more I practice, the more I remember, and then when I fall out of it, I start to lose more of it. And so it can be kind of difficult to retain that sort of information.
Yeah, Japanese is hard.
It's a difficult language.
And there's like Japanese within Japanese.
Yeah.
Japanese within that Japanese.
There's different dialects, there's different things you need to learn. You need to learn the polite conjugations of everything. You need to learn the polite forms, and then the more everyday forms instead of the polite forms, and all that sort of stuff. So there's a lot of different forms of Japanese that you kind of have to learn, but you know, it's difficult. And so I just currently haven't had the time for it, but it is a goal of mine to learn Japanese. Okay, Brandon.
We just did a re-roll, and so it is Biro Doso. While you were learning Japanese, I was learning Spanish.
Oh.
From a website called myspace.com.
Wow.
Which you can follow me at Brett Favre.
Oh.
On myspace.com. He's one of my clones. Brett Favre.
Yes.
Green Bay Packers.
Okay, Brandon, so Hioni asks you, what was the biggest challenge you had to overcome during your mostly self-taught videography career?
So I thought about this during our long break. It's actually been 3 days since we actually picked up recording this video. I honestly think it's confidence. I've never been a particularly confident person.
Okay.
And I have found myself in my videography career put in a number of spots that I've just sat back in the moment and been, I am absolutely so unqualified for this. And I've just kind of had to figure it out. And thankfully I have. And I've been given a lot of opportunities, a lot of them by Will, in a lot of different areas, where I just kind of had to learn how to do it on the fly, but kind of battle with like, do I feel worthy of doing that? Am I actually capable of doing that? So I think for me, and I still struggle with it in smaller ways, like even whenever we're making videos, I've mostly come over the hump of feeling like I have to constantly one-up myself. Because especially once you're in a position like we're in, we're making so many videos.
Yeah.
You start out like, oh, well, this has to be better. This has to be better. This shot has to be cooler. We can't go to the same location. It has to be better.
Has to be better. Has to be better.
And I've gotten pretty good at that. I always try with every video we make to have some, like 1 or 2 shots that are new and different than anything I've done before, but not like have everything be different. And that's something I've kind of settled into in terms of going back to how I was talking about confidence with a lot of my work that I've done, just being confident that I can do it and being obvious that I'm confident about doing it. Even in scenarios where I feel like I'm way over my head, that I can actually produce what needs to be produced. And that has a lot come from just being realistic with what I can deliver and being honest, like with my clients about like, if I know how to do something, yeah, I think I can do that. Or yeah, I know I can do that. Or if I don't know how to do it, I actually haven't had experience with that. I'd have to spend some time learning how to do that. So I can't really confidently do that right now, but in time, hopefully I could. But that's not something that I particularly specialize in. Yeah, so I think that confidence has been the biggest thing, and just being, and it's been a struggle. You know, that lack of confidence has led me to getting frustrated in certain places that I shouldn't, getting frustrated at people that I shouldn't get frustrated at. So I think that's been a lot. Probably the biggest thing, the most recent thing has been work-life balance.
Yes, God, is that the most difficult thing possible?
For the past year, or not past year, past 7 to 8 months, on average, I've been doing about 60 hours a week on average. oftentimes it'll go into like 70 hours a week, and that's like 6 days a week, 12-hour days kind of deal. And then sometimes having to work on a day off, having to balance that with my relationship with my girlfriend, my relationship with my friends, my relationship with the community, my relationship with family. So that's been the most recent thing, but overall, and maybe that's confidence too, in terms of having confidence. It's like, you know what? No, I don't need to work this much. I can get away with only doing X amount. But what I don't want to stop doing less for the YouTube channel. I want to do more, but it's the fear of what if this all comes crashing down at any moment, scary. Which is very common with the freelance realm of like, oh God, what if this client just stops calling me?
Yeah.
Because in freelance, happens. You don't have like severance, you don't have protections for that. It's just if they're done, bye.
Yep.
Thanks.
If they're done, you're done.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that, especially in the film industry, gaining your confidence is super important, and also something that's very difficult. For me as a sound mixer, gaining my confidence was very difficult. I had to, as a sound mixer, one of the parts of your job is to shut down whatever's happening on set when the sound is not good enough. And so something that I had to do is get confident enough to be able to say, hey, we need to hold for this thing that's happening because there's a construction going on across the street and we need to wait before we can keep going. Because you know what happens when you don't do that? They take the project and they get into post-production, and then the editor goes, why didn't you guys stop at this part? Yep. The audio is terrible. Yep. And then they don't hire you again.
Yeah.
And that's how that works.
Yep.
You have to be confident in your job. You have to understand that people are expecting you to do something, and you need to be confident in the thing you're doing. And gaining that confidence is so difficult. You feel like you don't earn it, but you need to understand that it's not about earning it, it's about already having it. Yeah. You just need to manufacture it, fake it till you make it, however you need to.
It is a lot of that,
But that's part of it. That's just part of that growth.
Yep.
Alongside that, you were saying also something that's difficult is work-life balance, and I very much agree with that. I made a video on the Will Flips channel that talks about how when you are in, there's actually, so this is gonna get into a later question, but I've been talking about potentially doing video essays. And there is this band called Vansire that I very much like, and they have an album called The Modern Western World. And in that album, there is a lyric from the song Open Late, which is about a fast food worker at Taco Bell. And the lyric goes, ain't never closed curtains when you're not on a stage. And what that does for me in terms of resonation is it very much resonates with how the YouTuber lifestyle has become.
Yeah.
When you're not on a stage, you know, if you're not a standard performer or you're not someone who has a 9-to-5 job, the curtains never close. And so even when I'm in my daily life, you know, even if I'm not editing and I'm not doing anything YouTube related, I'm still doing something YouTube related because I'm looking at my Instagram and I'm responding to people on my Instagram, or I'm checking the comments, or I'm checking this or checking that, or I'm talking to someone about
thinking
this
about this idea, thinking about that idea.
It never stops. Yeah. It consumes your life and becomes part of who you are. And like, that's not a bad thing necessarily, but it's how you deal with that. Yeah. And me and Brandon are very much still in the learning process of dealing with that in a healthy way.
Yeah.
So it's a difficult thing trying to find that work-life balance. And something else Brandon was saying is like, it's hard to balance talking to people.
Yes.
I have
parasocial relationships.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I have, at this point, thousands of notifications on my Instagram in terms of messages that I just cannot keep up with. I have, in terms of people who are not even in my general inbox, because as a creator, you have a general and primary inbox. My general inbox, I'm certain, has thousands of unread messages. My primary inbox has at least 80 unread messages. And that's my primary inbox of people and makers that I have specifically selected to, you know, show up first. But I get so much going on in my life that I can't even keep up with that. Yeah. I have on my personal messaging application, I have like 50 unread chats on there. On Facebook, I have an innumerable amount of friend requests on Facebook. I don't know if I've shown you this recently. This is something that I found recently.
I believe you.
It's crazy. If I go to my friend requests on Facebook, like, I don't actually know how to see this. Is there a way to see your friend requests?
There should be. Maybe it's in friends.
Oh yeah, there you go. I have 114 friend requests. Are you kidding me? Like it's you know, and it's cool. I love it. I'm so happy.
And that's what I was about to touch on.
But it's such a double-edged sword.
Yes, yeah, because like
it's such a double-edged Balisong.
Like especially if you watching are somebody that is creating content, it's like that sounds incredible.
Yeah,
like,
and it is.
You have thousands of people messaging you. Like that sounds like a dream come true, and it is. But it's whenever you break that down into an everyday life, and you factor in, say, working for 10 hours and sleeping for 8 hours, and there's 24 hours in a day. Is 6 hours of your life going to be talking to people?
If I spend
that would be a lot.
If I spend 3 minutes making one message to respond to everybody that messages me, and I have 1,000 messages, it will take me 3,000 minutes to respond to everybody, and I just cannot do that. And believe me, it takes longer than 3 minutes to write most of my messages. I'm too ADHD for that. So. Yeah, sorry. Wow, we spent a while on this question, but I think it was good.
No, yeah, it was good.
So yeah, thank you, Hioni, for that. But yeah, we are so grateful for this, and yet it is weirdly difficult in ways I was not expecting. So I think it's cool. Okay, Madeline asks, what is your favorite video you've made so far?
So this video should be out by the time this video releases, but I'm very, 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 very happy with the Prisma review.
Really?
The Prisma review is one of my, it's not my favorite. My favorite, I think, as a whole, especially after all the work that went into it, Balisong Collection 2022.
I was gonna say that too, yeah. We
Balisong
put
Collection
so much effort into that video. There's a song.
There's a song, has some of my best B-roll I've done.
We have the intro sequence.
We went to so many different locations.
So many locations. The intro sequence where it goes whoosh, 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 like.
And putting that
together. We put all the stops out for that video.
Yeah, every single level of everything that we could do went into that video.
Totally.
Down to the smallest details. So that, for me, is the video I'm most proud of. But the Prisma review, I think, is my favorite one I've individually done in terms of a video hosted by me. Similarly, that has a lot of good stuff.
Similarly for me, the collection video from this year, easily. And then, like, I think with us, one thing that we've tried to do with the collection videos is make those the video where we just don't.
We pull out everything.
All the stops. We put so much effort into those videos. They take months to produce.
Yeah.
We start doing them hella early, and they take a very long time to make, but it's always worth it. So.
And I think that's actually something we can kind of touch on with that is, you know, obviously it's a very small amount of people, but we have a small amount of people that are just like, why haven't you reviewed this? Why haven't you talked about this?
Yeah.
Why haven't you made a video about this? Make a video about this, which is great. We love people suggesting what we should do. But on average, I would say an average review takes between 3 to 6 or 7 days, like 8 to 10 hour days to produce.
Yeah.
I would say.
And that's not in a row.
We spend almost a full day shooting, which is usually 2 to 4 hours to do the talking segment, and then 2 to 4 hours to go shoot the flipping B-roll in terms of going to the location and actually shooting, and we try to keep that diverse. And then, or that's not including prep.
That's not including the writing.
That's not including writing the script or getting everything together. Even just doing the BS score takes time. It's also not including actually testing the Balisong and taking the time to flip it a ton to be able to gain the feedback on it.
I would say an actual review from us, from the point of getting the product to the point of the review being live, takes a minimum of 3 months.
Yeah. When you factor in, because it's like when you're talking about a Balisong, especially whenever you could factor in like durability and stuff like that, we can't flip it for a week
and know the durability.
Flip it over carpet for a week and know the durability or know the flippability without comparing it and contrasting. There's so many different things. We can't know the tuning without fully disassembling it and putting it back together and going through all those trial and error kind of things. And so it's a lot.
Yeah.
So and that's why it takes us as long as it does. But when you factor in the amount of time that we're actually spending, and again, that 3 to 7 days, it depends on the complexity of the review, is on top of us doing our day jobs.
Yep.
So that's where, like, and then again, it's not including any of the prep that goes into it. So it takes a lot of time to produce stuff. So that's where, in terms of talking about like a favorite video, putting everything that we have like in the Balisong Collection 2022 video. It just represents, it's like, even if nobody saw it, we would be super proud of it regardless, because it's not our favorite because it performed the best.
Yeah.
It actually kind of underperformed for whatever reason, but it's our favorite one because we just love it.
Yeah, we're proud of it.
Yeah, we're proud of it.
We put the work in that we like wanted to.
Yeah.
We did everything we wanted to, and that's what matters. And that's what we were talking about earlier when we were talking about doing stuff that you're actually passionate about. Because we make these videos for us. We make them because we enjoy them. And so...
and that's what complicates the whole work-life balance thing, too.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
totally.
Okay, let's say I worked 50 hours this week. And then, I have to do a visual effect that's going to take me 8 hours. And then everybody around you is like, stop. You don't have to do it right now. Take a break.
Yeah.
It's like, but I want to.
Yeah.
I want to. Because it's fun.
Yeah, because I want to work on it.
Yeah.
I want to do this thing. Here's something interesting, right? You said we could, if using the past 3 years of YouTube ad revenue, afford a Kia Soul. Is that what, $30,000? $25,000? $20,000.
20-ish.
Here's the thing, right? That sounds like a lot of money, but then break that into 3 years, first of all. Second of all, split that in half, 50-50. That is $10,000 per person broken by 3 years. Yeah. That is well below the survivable amount of money over a 3-year period, especially when you're working 50-hour work weeks. It's not sustainable.
Yeah.
But we're doing our best to make it sustainable. Yeah. The Vulp is part of that. The Vulp, cases are part of that. The merch. We've been
Squid
putting
Industry's
in
affiliate code
everything.
is a huge part of that.
We've been putting in so much effort to try to make different revenue streams happen, and it's important because it supports us and makes us feel more secure because we're not only relying off of the YouTube ad revenue, which honestly isn't that great unless you're a really big channel. And so, you know, it's just a difficult balance because you're trying to do all of these different things to make your life better, but that takes more hours out of your life. And so, I don't know, it's an interesting balance to have to find.
And that's where you kind of have to separate yourself too from like putting a ton of time into something and then it not necessarily performing well. Oops. That's kind of why you have to enjoy it, because if you're reliant on the reception to that thing, you're never going to be fulfilled because it's never going to be good enough. It has to. Your fulfillment has to start at, I am happy with this based on maybe one person seeing it. Yeah. I liked it and Brandon liked it, and that's enough. Like if Will were to say that, like I did this effect and Brandon liked it, cool, great. Maybe Joe liked it. Maybe me, if I showed my girlfriend something, Joe is waving, hello. No face reveal, I'm sorry. I don't want to cuck you into thinking that Joe...
500,000?
Yeah, 500,000 for a face reveal. So if you want motivation, definitely people watching this
subscribe twice.
Subscribe twice, yeah. Voter fraud. Welcome to America.
Welcome to America. Okay. Anyways, Graphics, Nikki asks, favorite place to visit in Atlanta?
Iron Age.
Iron Age, that's a good answer. I was gonna say Pont City Market.
Pont City Market is very cool. Pont City Market, it's an old Sears factory from the early 1900s.
Yeah.
That was a huge factory that went out of business, but then they turned it into a giant shopping center.
It's super
That's by the Beltline.
Yep.
The Beltline is
this walkable... if you go there, you can visit, go to the Beltline.
Yeah, it's just this walkable thing where you can take your dog, you can go on a run, you can ride bikes.
And we've shot at all those locations.
Yeah, we've shot, all those locations.
Honestly, another one of my favorite places in Atlanta is the Roswell Mill Waterfall.
That's very close to us.
We have shot a bunch of stuff at that waterfall location. So if you're ever in Atlanta, the Roswell Mill Waterfall is a beautiful waterfall location where we have shot many times.
Yeah, there's a lot of really beautiful locations in and around Atlanta.
Yeah, I feel very lucky to be here.
Iron Age is a Korean barbecue restaurant where it's all you can eat.
Yep.
But when you hear all you can eat, you probably think, oh, so it's gonna be crappy food, but there's a lot of it. No. It is exceptionally high quality meat. That is all you can eat. And every single person, to this day, this is 100% true, every single person that I've talked to Iron Age about and taken them to, I have set it up a lot and hyped it up a lot. Like I have hyped the ever living crap out of it.
Yep.
Every single person, it has exceeded their expectations.
Yep.
That I set.
After you hyped it up.
After I hyped it up, it exceeded their expectations.
Yep.
So yeah, Korean barbecue place, tons of different kinds of meat. It's amazing.
It's so fun.
So in terms of the locations that we have. Being so close, I don't think we've driven or needed to have driven more than an hour to produce any of the reviews.
Yeah.
Every single review we have shot, like we've gone to California and stuff, and done that, but we wouldn't have needed to for different reviews. But almost everything has been within an hour of where we live.
Yeah, which is so crazy.
Which is a far cry from Texas.
Oh yeah, Texas, everything was an hour away.
North Texas or mid Texas, it's a lot of flat,
nothing,
brown and gray.
Love it.
Occasional green.
Oh, Texas.
But the green is dull. I don't miss Texas. I'm very happy with Georgia.
Okay, so now we're gonna move on to a couple YouTube questions for the history portion, and then we'll move on to other portions. Xavier asks, you and Brandon have known each other for a while. Any crazy stories between y'all you can share? I wanna give this to you, because I don't have a very good memory.
Nothing comes to my mind.
Really?
There's obviously various things from high school.
Yeah.
That we've done. Oh, that's a good one. One of our best videos. This is one of the best ones. One of our favorite videos we made is not a Balisong thing, but it's called Dubstep versus Classical.
Dubstep versus Classical.
And
one of my favorite things I've ever produced.
Yeah.
That video got me into film school because
yes, it did.
I submitted it for a scholarship, and that scholarship just happened to be enough money to actually get me into film school. Yeah. And I won the scholarship because of that video.
Yeah, so that video I starred in, Daniel had passed away by that point, so we used our good friend Cody.
Yep.
And you rented, and it was supposed to be Amadeus.
Yeah.
It's an Amadeus like
Mozart
composer outfit, and it was purple, and we rented a wig.
Yep.
And in Gainesville, Texas, small little town that we lived near, it was the outside of this abandoned factory near a pretty busy road.
Yeah.
And it was in the middle, I believe, of June. Because we had just graduated high school.
Yes, it was so hot.
It was so hot.
You were in layers.
Yeah. And then we brought air mattresses.
Yep.
Because it was a thing where we had to jump on them a bunch because it was supposed to be like an action thing.
Yeah, it was like there's visual effects that happen where they get blown back over and over again. And so I had them jump onto air mattresses, and I put all the behind the scenes in the end of the video, so you can see them jumping and like really going hard onto these air mattresses. That was fun.
But just it's in front of this abandoned factory, just being out there in probably close to 100-degree weather, wearing this super big costume, and just having the absolute time of our lives.
Yeah.
And one of the funniest things, we were filming a shot, and a guy in a truck. So a reminder, this is like rural Texas.
Yeah.
So everybody's mostly talking like deep accents like this. Talking like maybe with a little bit of a twang, but they're almost all like, you're doing some mud down by the creek, y'all.
Yep.
You want Coors Light?
Yep.
You got some Coors Light?
That's
stuff like that.
That's
right?
Texas. That's our Texas.
A guy drove by in the middle of shooting a shot, which is in the bloopers of the video, and he just sees me and he yelled. I remember he was in a black old truck.
Yep.
Scratched paint and everything, and he just yells, "Get it, George Washington!" Because I had the wig.
Is this a story you've heard before, Joe?
Yeah.
Okay. Joe laughed like hard over there.
But
Get it, George Washington!
I still
it's
say
one of my
that.
favorite.
Get it, George Washington!
It's such a good moment.
Yeah, so I think that in terms of a core story to tell, because that was right before you moved, so that was kind of a last hurrah kind of video for you and I.
Yeah.
So I think that, being out there in near 100-degree heat, you filming, again, I wasn't filming at that time, and having Cody and I jump on those air mattresses over and over till they popped, because we had to do it, but they popped.
Yeah, they popped.
And then I think at one point we just went onto the ground. I don't freaking know.
That wouldn't surprise me.
But no, I would say that's one of the craziest things we've been up to. We've been in we have a lot of crazy stories that we can share. Not all of them YouTube friendly. But yeah, so that's a good memory, and that's a very fun video.
Yeah.
And it's on the channel, so you can go check it out. It's called Dubstep versus Classical.
No Balisong from YouTube again asks, "Yo, Will, why did you start with YouTube?" And the reason that I started with YouTube in the first place was I watched YouTube creators like Freddie Wong, Freddie W is the main one.
Yeah.
Freddie W, Brandon JLA, Corridor Digital was one that came after. The guy who works with Corridor a lot now, Clint.
Clint.
Punisher.
Punisher.
He did the cardboard guns thing.
Yeah.
All of those guys doing visual effects on YouTube back in that day were huge inspirations to me, and I always wanted to learn to do visual effects. And when I started seeing these and they made tutorials and stuff, I was all in on it. And so I started editing on Windows Movie Maker, and the way that I did some of my first effects was by using custom Windows Movie Maker transitions that allowed you to have a split screen effect in a video, and I would clone myself. And all of the first videos on the channel, if you go look, we lived in the middle of nowhere, Texas. Brandon lived in a little kind of lake villa town thing called Lake Kiowa. And I lived in the middle of actual buttfuck nowhere on a county road, like a dirt road. Yeah. So Brandon at least had people, road, you at least had people that like lived down the street from you that you could walk to. I had no one.
You had
that I
horses
could walk to. Yeah.
You could say hi to.
I had horses. So all of my original videos, if you go back and look, they all are just me and clones of me acting for the entire video. And that is not by choice, that is by necessity, because I had such a desire to create videos, but no friends that lived nearby.
Wait, we're not friends? What do you mean? We're co-workers.
We're friends, right, Joe? Oh, man. I had no friends that live nearby, so literally to make these videos, I had to use clones of myself. And this happened. My mom asked me at one point, she was like, because I made these videos that were like violent, where I was shooting myself, like I was shooting clones of myself. And my mom was like, well, I understand that you want to make these videos for the visual effects, but can you just stop shooting yourself? And I was like, well, Mom, then who else am I going to shoot? Like very matter-of-factly, because I just didn't have anybody else. And she was like, you know what? I never thought of it that way.
You know what I have never thought of until this video?
What?
Or until this exact moment. That the whole clone gag has been there the whole time.
Yes.
I've never made that connection.
Yes.
That the clone gag on the Will Hirsch channel, which now it's me.
In fact, canonically, there's far more clones of me.
It started with you. I've never made that connection.
Yep.
But that is totally real.
In fact, I
believe
believe
literally have. It's called. There's some video where it's just a ton of clones.
And I believe there is a canonically the original me gets killed off in one of those videos. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that happens. So.
That is crazy.
Anyways, that's the YouTube story.
YouTube. And YouTube, of course, for us, that's what we grew up with.
Yeah.
So
related
was
related to that, Z3NJ1 on YouTube asks, why did you start doing Balisong reviews? This is an interesting story. It's a lot shorter of a story, but essentially what happened is I had already done YouTube for such a long time, and I was into the Balisong hobby very deeply. And I watched people...
real quick, you had actually had a video essentially go viral.
Yes. Yes, I had
a visual effects thing where
that went viral.
Removed the dinosaurs from a scene of Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
And it just looks like white people admiring a potential golf course.
It's so true. It's so true. It literally looks like white people admiring a potential golf course. It's the funniest thing. Yeah. But yeah, so I removed the Jurassic. I removed the Jurassic from the park, and I took all the dinosaurs out. And that was in film school. I did that while I was still in film school. I did that in an editing class where I was not learning anything because I already knew about all of the editing stuff they were teaching us. So instead, I removed the dinosaurs from Jurassic Park, and here we are. Okay, so Death asks, will there be more audiophile videos? Which is also similar to what Solar Flare asked, which is expand this to, will there be more videos on your other hobbies? Because I'm still waiting on a custom keyboard video. Yeah. So here's the thing. Unfortunately, with the way production is right now, we are stretched so thin making Balisong content that the stuff that we make outside of that is kind of a loss, because the problem is, and this was proven by the first audiophile video we made, unfortunately, the videos that we make about stuff outside of the realm of Balisongs just don't get the viewership from our core audience, which is a problem because when you spend multiple weeks making a video, you should probably make it in a way that will be economically beneficial because otherwise you're gonna lose money and be sad.
Yeah.
So,
and that video we love.
We love
one
that
of our
video. I'm
favorite
so
videos.
proud of that video.
And obviously we were saying earlier, make whatever you want to make.
Yeah.
And that was a video we wanted to make. But objectively, I looked at the numbers. It is by a large margin.
Large margin.
Our worst performing video we have made together, period. By a large margin.
Large margin.
So that's where kind of the business side of things is coming to play.
Yep.
And Will actually came to me with what on paper could have been a really fun idea and could be a fun idea in the future to do about wanting to do more audio related things. And it just kind of came down to, let's actually think about how much we already have on our plate.
Yeah.
And at that time we had the conversation, we had the cases in development, we had the Vulp in development.
Yep.
And so it was like, this isn't really a time to shift to doing content that a small percentage of our audience would love, absolutely love. And we would probably have a lot of fun making it too. But at the end of the day, we have to balance like what is going to perform well and what is going to be worth producing. And unfortunately doing other stuff just probably isn't going to perform at the level that we would need it to be sustainable, especially when we're already so backlogged.
I know, yeah.
With so many different products to review, so many collaborations we can do. And ultimately, we have a small set of the audience that would enjoy it, but the number of people asking for it is exponentially small in terms of our overall viewership. So that's where hopefully if the Vulp continues doing well, if the cases do well, and everything continues on the up and up, we can maybe have a little more wiggle room to not feel as pressured to just make Balisong stuff. But then it's also, and this was part of the conversation Will and I had, for me, by doing like audio related things and keyboard related things, I don't have a passion for those things. I work with audio because I have to, because I'm a videographer, but I don't necessarily have a passion for headphones or a passion for keyboards, despite Will having made the keyboard that I currently use, and it's great. But I don't really have that passion. So that's where for me, it's like if I were to share in that, at this moment, I feel like it would be kind of forced instead of organic, like the Balisong.
Yeah, you were already
has turned out to be.
Like you had to like really invest yourself into getting into Balisongs after the YouTube thing, but you were already interested before the YouTube thing.
Yeah,
exactly. So
and like, can I appreciate cool stuff? Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, once you factor in 3 to 7 days to make a main video, doing that on top, or doing something like a keyboard thing or an audio related thing, which would be probably the easiest things for us to move into. And ultimately there's not a lot of overlap in that realm anyway. It's like how many people are actually hardcore audiophiles and Balisong flippers?
Yeah.
Probably not that much.
It's a small Venn diagram.
Yeah. Whereas like say we were a gaming channel and we wanted to review a gaming console. That would be, there'd be a fair amount of overlap with that other stuff. So that's what makes it tough.
It makes it tough. I will say that is not a we will not do that. So here's the thing to know. Currently, my plans are, I have a lot of things that I do want to make videos about eventually. Be it keyboards, be it audiophile videos, be it just videos about my other interests. I do have stuff I want to make videos on. And currently, my plan with those videos and what I want to do with them. Oh yeah, Toast? Toast baby? She's yowling.
Toast?
Toast has the zoomies right now. My plan is to just take my time with those things and produce them at the pace that I see fit. So I definitely will eventually be making a keyboard video. I know that I want to make more audiophile videos, and something else that I've really wanted to do for quite a while, and I've been talking to Brandon about this, is I want to make some video essays.
Yeah.
And to do all of that, unfortunately, it'll just have to happen in the time that I have to myself outside of when we're actually producing the YouTube stuff. So the answer is yes, eventually, but it's a very big eventually.
Yeah, it's one step at a time kind of thing.
Precisely.
And we're still kind of even finding our footing with Balisong content too.
Yeah, we have not figured out everything at all.
Yeah, the Bali shorts have been kind of, at least for me, like a little bit of a headache trying to figure out exactly how to do those. And then thinking about doing more collaborations with other makers in the future. Like Machine Wise is a big person that we've already started to have conversations with, like doing what we did with Squid Industries, but with him.
Yeah.
And all the different things and all the just kind of creative energy that takes. And so that's where, you know, Will and I have to kind of be able to come together on that. And that's where with all this stuff, all those other hobby kinds of things, it just takes a really long time, especially because we don't want to half-ass in a video.
No.
We don't want to just half-ass, oh yeah, here's some headphones. Or, oh yeah, here's my keyboard, bada bing, bada boom. It's like, no, we want to talk about why keyboards are important, why you should care, what's unique about what I have, the whole hobby in general, all that kind of stuff.
So I think that also kind of leads us into a question by Z3NJ1, which is, why did you start doing Balisong reviews? And I think that's something that I can answer pretty easily, which is, so obviously I've got all of these different hobbies. I was inspired to do Balisong videos after I watched a bunch of different Balisong content on YouTube. I watched Knife Caviar, Captain America Yang, Not a Real Boy, Cutlery Lover 23, Luger Monger, Big Flips, God.
Ryan Seacrest.
Sure, what?
Jennifer Aniston.
A lot of different people that made Balisong content. I watched all of it. Like, that it is something that I was very interested in.
I did not.
And so, for me, it was like, I already did the YouTube thing. I already did the videos thing. I knew all of those things. Who is Ryan Seacrest?
He's a, like, extremely famous
but which one is
TV personality. Ryan, I think is he American?
What has he done?
He's like a TV host.
Oh, okay.
For the most part.
Okay. I don't know who a lot of famous people are. That's something that you got to know about me.
You've met super famous people on sets that you haven't.
Yeah, that I didn't know who they were.
That's Ryan Seacrest.
I do not recognize his face. Wow. I don't watch TV.
American media personality and producer. He's the co-host of American Idol was the name. I think he was the main host for American Idol.
Yeah, I barely watched American Idol ever. Okay, anyways, sorry, complete tangent. But yes, I've watched, that's the funny that when you start bringing up these people, like you're referencing really popular people, I have no idea who you're talking about. I don't know how to go with.
You met Matt LeBlanc, Joey from Friends.
Oh, right, that's who that is. Yeah, I was about to say who's Matt LeBlanc. Joe would kill me for saying that out loud.
Yeah.
Sorry, anyways, sorry, my brain's off topic now, ADHD. Yeah, so essentially, I watched a lot of Balisong content created by a lot of Balisong content creators, and I thought to myself, please.
I was giving her a little smooch. Him a little smooch.
Them
a little smooch.
Yeah. I watched a bunch of different Balisong creators, and like, it just helped me to be like, well, I can do that. And so I tried it. And that's literally what that first video is, the very first, like, My Balisong Collection 2018, I think. That video is literally one day, I just took Joe's camera and was like, hey, do you mind if I use this today? I'm gonna try to make a video about my Balisong collection. And he was like, oh yeah, sure. And I just did.
Yeah.
And I literally—
I wasn't involved with it. The first two Balisong videos you did, I had no involvement.
Yeah, well, in that first Balisong video, there was no plan. I didn't plan to do that day. I just had free time that day and was like, I could do the Balisong video I've been wanting to do for a long time. And then it kind of went viral, and then I continued.
Viral for the Balisong community, which was like a few thousand views.
Yeah, but at the time it was like, holy cow. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that's how I got into that. Then I think this is actually pretty well related too. Quap Flips asks, who in the community currently inspires you to flip? Also, will there be more Will Reacts? Yes, there will be more Will Reacts. We just haven't had time to film them yet, but they will happen. Yeah. And then who in the community currently inspires you to flip? I would love to talk about this. I don't know if you have an answer.
I don't really have an answer, really. Like, it's kind of a general thing. Like, I talk to a lot of people. You obviously are the main person that I look at that, you know, because I literally have to film you flipping.
Yes.
And then you're the person that's taught me the most. And I think you have, this is an interesting thing. I've seen people give, unfortunately, hot takes about how different Balisong flippers, oh, they're not actually pro. Will Hirsch, he's just an intermediate flipper. He's not an expert. He's not like this person or this person or this person. But truthfully, I feel like, in terms of being a reviewer, it's almost better to be closer to intermediate than it is expert.
Yeah.
Because if you are a top tier like Seiji, or Jelly, or even Andre from Squid Industries, all these crazy insane flippers, you are representing like 0.05% of the Balisong community when you're at that level. So I feel like us being where we are is a little more relatable in terms of our flipping skill. But so in terms of me having somebody I look up to, I don't necessarily have anybody that I look at. It's like, oh, their style is exactly what I want to go for, because I don't even know that I can seek out having a style, because I'm still learning all the very basic things that I'm learning, which with how long I've been flipping, you'd think, why the fuck hasn't he learned that already? He's been doing Balisong videos for 3 years, but turns out making Balisong videos takes a long time, and leaving time for flipping and doing a day job is just a little tough.
Yep. For me, I have a lot of people who inspire me to flip, and I love watching flipping content. You know, that's what got me into flipping as it did. Like when I got deeper and deeper, it was because I was watching people and learning from them and, you know, enjoying stuff. One of the first people that really, really inspired me in terms of flipping is Assassin Flown. Assassin Flown is just one of the most interesting flippers, and one of the people that I think really represents the meeting of the hobby between a knife hobby and a flow art. You know, what Assassin Flown does is flipping, but it's very much closer to flow art and skill toy usage than it is to like utilitarian usage. Yeah. And Assflow really experiments and does all sorts of very interesting stuff, and like, I don't know, I think that is really, really incredible.
Yeah.
Other people in the community are like Seiji, of course, Joff, Bally's Gin.
Is it one guy that always throws stuff behind his back?
Oh, Red Edge.
Reacted to
Red
it.
Edge.
Yeah,
Red Edge is absolutely an inspiration. Red Edge with the power aerials is such a unique style of flipping that I've never really seen done before. I've seen people, God, I'm gonna be so angry that I can't remember his name. But there's one guy who's very well known for power aerials. I don't know why I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but he is he's super well known for specifically power aerials. He'll do an insane power aerial where he throws it 10 feet in the air and then catches it with his big toes. Yeah, he'll catch it with his toes on his foot or whatever. Yeah.
I've never seen that. We'll react.
Yeah,
soon.
That is a very that's like a classic guy. But that style of power aerials ends. It's a power aerial and then you land it. That's usually how it is. With Red Edge, he's developed a style that is continuous power aerials, where he's taking these things that are usually very hard to continue the momentum of and finding interesting ways to continue the momentum and continue the trick and make it keep going. And that, I think, is super cool. Alongside that, who's this one dude? Oh my God, I'm gonna have to, Balisong. That's one of my favorite, for the longest time. I love Balisong on Instagram. His content is so interesting because of the way he flips is very interesting. And he also combines a persona with the way he flips. So he has a very suave sort of style when he does the magnet catch, and he does like very over-the-top sort of motions with his hands and stuff like that to really give more of a personality and style to the flipping that is beyond just doing the action in a cool way, but instead making it a whole performance. And that's the kind of stuff that really inspires me. So there are a lot. I obviously can't name all of them, but there are a lot of different flippers that I love.
Because there's a lot of really good stuff that people make. Yeah, I don't have one that I gravitate toward like you do, but I think as I improve, I'll be able to formulate like exactly like, ooh, I can do that.
So here's another question. Procky Flips asks, what do you think could be improved upon in content creation and creativity in the realm of Balisongs, specifically on YouTube? That's a great question. There's a few things that I think would be pretty cool niches that could get filled in terms of Balisong content. One of them is Balisong maker content. Right now, Contraption Collection is one of the only people that I know of that's actually making something and making content about it, other than the podcast that's being done by all them. And so...
Carbide content.
Yeah, carbide content. You know, so like there is a space there that could be filled. But then on top of that, I don't know, I think that the Balisong creating I feel like we've not nearly scratched the surface when it comes to what content can be created about Balisongs. Like we try to make new stuff, but we have a format, and then there are people who have tried to either imitate that format or create their own version of that format, but
which is great.
Still,
That's totally art.
Yeah, no, it's great, but
anybody that tells you, oh no, you can't make that. That's similar to what this other person makes. Screw them.
Yeah.
As long as you're not blatantly copyright infringing in some way, make whatever you want to make. I learned some of the best things I ever learned by straight up copying people's videos and just seeing how they did them. And that was great.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of untapped potential.
Well, but what I'm getting at there though is that even with that, you're still only using the same format that already exists.
Yeah.
And so you're not really, like, even if more and more people are making the content, they're still making similar types of content. And that also has to do with people that make more vlog style videos where they're just talking about the Balisong or whatever. And so like, kind of like I do on my Flips channel, it's like, there are certainly other ways to talk about Balisongs or not even talk about them, but just create content related to them. And honestly, I don't even know what those ways are yet. But what I can tell you is that if you come up with a unique idea that doesn't seem to really have been done yet, absolutely go for it, because personally for me, I think that's what makes someone special on YouTube, and that's what makes them stand out. And that's pretty much what I would say there.
Yeah. But also, like, at the end of the day, if you enjoy what you're making and that happens to be very similar to what somebody else is doing, that's great. You found what you want to do. Yep. And that's awesome. That's fantastic.
So, another question from Spectacles asks, do you think Balisongs will be banned from Blade Show in the future? If so, do you think there will be a push from the community to create a Bali show of sorts? This is one that I have a lot of thoughts on, and I've done a lot of thinking about. I don't think that Balisongs will be banned from Blade Show in the future unless something happens.
Yeah, someone or a group of people would have to royally screw up.
Yes, and it's got, the problem is it has gotten close a number of times. It got close this year, it got close last year, and I feel like it can only get close so many times before it just happens. But as far as I know right now, currently Balisongs do bring in a lot of money for Blade Show, therefore Blade Show probably won't ban them yet. But here's the thing that I get at. As the Balisong community gets larger and larger, our community is diametrically different than the Blade Show community. The people that are going to Blade Show for Blade Show and not Balisongs have very little interest in the same things that the people that are going to Blade Show for Balisongs are doing. And so I think, honestly, yes, there should be a push from the community to create a Bali show, but less a Bali show. And what I think really needs to happen, and I've talked about this before on my second channel as well, I think there needs to be a skill toy convention. Something that brings together the people that do kendamas and worry bricks and yo-yo and Balisong and poi and flow staff and all of these different flow arts, glow, LED gloving. Like there's so many different flow arts that could be combined in this one place. And I think that the Balisong community has much more in common with the people that do the flow arts than the people at Blade Show. And so I hope at some point in the future there can be a skill toy convention that Balisongs are at. So yeah, that's my hope. Okay, let's see here. Oh, this is good. Damn it, Bobby 420.
Yeah.
Damn it, Bobby 420 asks, would you ever consider making a sort of comprehensive history of Balisong in a sort of video essay format? Something like, seems like something you could do very well. Yes.
That's kind of what you already kind of touched on in a way with the video essay thing.
So I've talked about, I do want to do video essays, but actually something that I've thought of for a while now is I actually want to create a documentary of sorts about Balisongs. And my concept for it right now is to make something about the history of Balisongs, a comprehensive history. I want to go through and I want to interview people in the Balisong space, be it flippers or manufacturers and makers, designers.
Like people off the top of my head, Dalen from Machine Wise, Lucas from Squid Industries, Corbin. From flipping, he made the Balisong. We had a review or
Corbin
interview.
Levins.
What's the Balisong called?
Wired. The wired levels.
No, but what's his Balisong called?
Oh, the Strix.
The Strix, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of potential there.
Well, and I'd probably shy away from people like Machine Wise, and I would talk to Corbin, but not as a maker, because I'm not looking for newer makers' opinions.
I was talking about flipping, because Corbin's a flipper.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
He made the Strix, but I would talk to him about flipping.
I would definitely, in terms of a maker, I would 100% talk about Machine Wise.
Well, no, I would talk to Machine Wise, but the video, the documentary about flipping, he is a very recent player.
I think that's what makes it most interesting.
No, I agree with you. But what I'm saying is I want to tell people what they don't know. People don't know about the history of flipping. They don't know, kids these days don't know about Jersey Devil or all of the stuff that happened around the time of BRS starting up or Squid Industries starting up. Like, that is all ancient history at this point. And those are the people that I want to talk to.
Like what? Squid Industries came out in like 2015,
yeah,
I think.
Something like that.
But it feels like ancient history.
It is at the rate that the Balisong community has been growing. None of these people that are in the community now know about that. And so that's what I want to make a thing about. Obviously, I want to get Dalen's opinion on, like, you know, when we get to modern times, his opinion on how it is now.
Yes, yeah.
But when I'm talking about the history, I want to go into a comprehensive history. I want to talk to Asflow about their experience in getting into Balisong and learning to flip and all of that stuff. I want to talk to people like NRB about their experience on YouTube and being a YouTuber early in the Balisong community and then getting into making Balisongs. I want to talk to Captain Amerikang about his process. Cutlery Lover 23, I'd love to talk to him.
It'd be cool to even go further back than barely, 2012, 2013 kind of time frame, and like find somebody that maybe worked at like Benchmade in like the 80s.
No, yeah, totally. Yeah. And that's what I'm talking about. So I want to start at the beginning and work our way through. So that's one of my ideas. I want to make a documentary style piece about the history of Balisongs and the full breadth of that and what that means.
So to answer the question, would you ever make a video like that? Yeah, we're talking about it already.
Gax has a very interesting question here. What specific Balisong or maker do you think has the biggest impact on how the modern Balisong looks today?
First thing that comes to my head is Squid Industries.
It's Squid Industries. The answer is Squid Industries. Yeah.
Maybe BRS, but in terms of making things accessible and affordable, and look at channel aluminum Balisong.
Yeah. So here's the thing: BRS maybe has a influence in the sense that they made the Alpha Beast, and the Alpha Beast has things about it that would become kind of standard. But the original Sandwich Alpha Beast was created in a time where stuff already existed that was Sandwich Titanium Balisongs. They just hadn't been adapted for flipping as much as the Alpha Beast had. Then they made the Replicant, and the Replicant is pretty much a Benchmade 51, but bigger. So that's not breaking any new ground. The Benchmade 51 already existed. Benchmade is already doing that stuff. However, this Balisong, this Balisong, this Balisong. What else we got? This Balisong. This Balisong.
Heck, even this Balisong.
This Balisong.
Even this Balisong.
That Balisong. This Balisong. This Balisong, and many more. All of these, not a single one of these is from Squid Industries. Not one. Oh yeah, but not one of these is from Squid Industries. But every single one of these Balisongs exists because of something that Squid Industries did or innovated on. And specifically, not just Squid Industries, but Lucas Cow. All of these Balisongs copy his homework in one way or another. I cannot think of a person that has had a larger impact on the Balisong community as a whole than Lucas Cow, I think. He has genuinely improved the community in such a number of drastic ways and invented new concepts that people literally ridiculed him for that became the most popular way to build a Balisong. When he said he was going to make a Balisong out of aluminum and then he made the squid trainer, people thought that was silly, but they were excited for something that would be cheaper, right?
Yeah.
But people thought it was silly. And then when he said, oh, I'm gonna put a live blade on an aluminum channel Balisong, people said, you can't do that. Only trainers are on aluminum channel. And then he did, and now literally every Balisong is on aluminum channel design, dude. It's crazy. And then he said, oh, I'm gonna make a Balisong out of plastic. And people said, you can't do that. And then he did. And you know what? People loved it. And now more and more people are creating Balisongs made of plastic. You have your Tay Flipper right there. That's a great example next to the cycloid here. Like, so many things that we take for granted now are so integrally related to Squid Industries and the things that they've developed and the things that they've changed. And sure, there are plenty of other players that have made massive impacts in how Balisongs are made.
And even ones that have a better, or subjectively have better value, have better flipping, all that. But in terms of, really changing what a Balisong can be, Squid Industries has been at the epicenter of that.
Yeah.
One thing that they didn't have an influence on is this Balisong that was going to be a review years ago that I never made.
They did not have it, well, no.
Shh.
Yeah.
Okay, moving right along. Woo. There's a question from Goldwyn. Long-time Patreon supporter. Thank you, Goldwyn. He asked, what is the most expensive single Balisong you've ever bought? Before we filmed, Will and I talked about that. You said you didn't know.
I have no idea.
I honestly have no idea.
I think it's it might be my Talisong, but I genuinely am not sure.
Yeah.
I've spent a lot of money on Balisong.
No, so for me, I've actually looked through my collection, and I've actually bought a shockingly few number of my Balisongs. Still spent easily more than $1,000, probably over $2,000 at this point. And a lot of that is because we have to review stuff and everything like that. But actually my most expensive one is my Bowie Crack-A-Rackin' V2.5. This is technically the most expensive Balisong that I have bought. The most expensive one I own is my Machine Y Seraph because of this lovely gentleman who got it for me for my birthday, and I love it to death. But I did not buy this. But technically the most expensive one I bought is the Nautilus and the Crack-A-Rackin' V2.5.
Yeah.
Technically
Very
speaking,
nice.
Strictly technically.
Okay, so this is a three-parter question, or this is four questions, but in one. So, Bluke's Sizable, Emily, Juicy TWT Bread, and Hioni all basically asked similar things, which was, who would you collaborate with? Or are you planning on collaborating with other Balisong companies? And what are some of the companies that you dream about collaborating with? Yeah. I think that's a really great question because after we've made the Vulp, obviously that does open up the door to potential future collaborations.
Yeah. And as for questions about the Vulp, at this current moment, there will probably be a lot of questions about the Vulp. It's been quite a journey and it's a process figuring out all this different stuff. We are going to be making a dedicated video about the history of the Vulp, what the future of the Vulp looks like, what it currently is right now, what we want it to be, what the goal is, all that stuff. There's going to be a dedicated main channel video talking about that. So expect those questions to be answered later, but not here specifically.
Yes. So anyways, the fact that we've made this basically means that yes, we will probably work with other Balisong companies in the future, and I would love to. A few of them that come to mind very quickly are Machine Wise and Squid Industries and Glider Co. and Maxace. Those are all some of the companies that I would really love to work with.
Cool
Flightanium is awesome. So yeah.
Even smaller makers like Tay Flipper or Zipper doing a 3D printed thing. But the logistics of making Balisongs is exceptionally complicated.
So complicated.
There is so much that goes into making a Balisong. Even a mass-produced thing like this, there is so much complexity to all of that. So it would have to be, it wouldn't be something that we would just do for the sake of doing. There'd have to be like a reason for it. Like the reason for the Vulp, kind of the goal of that is something affordable and available and decent. Yeah. That somebody recognizable can confidently back. But doing it with other companies, it would have to be kind of the right thing, the right design, And that stuff just takes a really, really, really long time. It takes a lot of money, and it's just a complicated process.
Yeah.
But yes, there's a lot of cool people that would be really cool collaborating with. That's another thing, one step at a time. Like, we're not gonna be releasing every 6 months new versions of the Vulp or new versions of this, and then collaborating with this and making this and making this and making this. At the end of the day, we're content creators for the time being. And we're not Balisong makers or Balisong designers at the current stage.
No.
You just, like with the Vulp you just made, what would you like, and what do you think would be good for new people?
Yep.
But making Balisongs is really hard.
No.
So
yeah, I would love to work with all these people, but it will not be on any sort of timeline that is soon. It is all gonna be, you know, spaced out over a nice period of time.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's a whole thing. Yeah. Okay, so Jowquin123321 asks, do you guys often cut yourself?
I almost just did off camera in between clips with the Seraph.
Yes. But
yes.
honestly, no, not often, I would say.
So I've never really had a razor sharp live blade. Like the whole time that I've had like my Crackerakin V1, that's been significantly dulled. My Flytanium Lucha has been significantly dulled. Everything close to a live blade, the Alien, the one Alien was significantly dulled. The Seraph and the Medusa V2 are the first ones that I've flipped a lot that have been proper live blades, and then also the Bowie Crackerakin. But nothing bad. I've had small cuts, but nothing like where it's gushing blood. It's just like, oh yeah, just a little cut, little scrape. But I am generally extremely careful with my live blade stuff. But I don't think you cut yourself. You got a bad cut on the Seraph while we were shooting the Seraph B-roll.
That's right.
Which potentially was gonna throw a wrench in it. You powered through it, and good on you.
Thank you.
But yeah, that was a scary one whenever that one happened.
Yeah. But
not
honestly,
often,
yeah.
though.
No,
Yeah.
not a lot of cuts. I'm just careful, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. But we definitely don't leave all of our Balisongs razor sharp.
No, yeah. I leave my Balisongs sharp enough to do useful things like open boxes and open letters and stuff like that. But I don't leave them razor sharp, and I don't sharpen them every time I use them, because I think leaving them that sharp is kind of silly. Because like the whole point of it is to sling it around like a toy, at least for me. And why would I leave it razor sharp if I'm gonna do that? That just sounds silly. So like it's sharp enough that it'll cut anything I need it to. Like I think right here there's like some plastic. Yeah. So there you go. I cut some plastic off the table. So it's sharp enough to do that. But if I just touch it with my finger, it's not sharp enough to cut me from doing that. And so that's where I like to keep them, so that if I do a wrist pass and the blade just barely touches me, I don't get a nick. So, you know, that's where I'm at. I don't know.
Yeah, screw you, Nick.
Whoa.
Sorry, Nick.
Okay, so
I like the
Scrangies
from Scrangy.
Yeah, Scrangy.
I can touch on this one. This is, how do you see Balisongs in the future? And I think the only thing I want to generally, an observation I made as I've gotten more involved with the Balisong community, there is kind of a hard cap, not a hard cap, soft cap, on how big the Balisong community can grow. Because in most places they're illegal, and even the trainers get confiscated.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of hobbies where it is literally illegal to have that thing.
Yeah.
So I think that's gonna always be the limit of it, is at the end of the day, it is a knife, or it looks like a knife.
Wow,
the hiccups.
You had the
but
too much
even
of the
this,
beer.
I was in Philadelphia, and I went to a museum, and they were scanning for like sharp objects and weapons and everything like that. One of the friends I was with had an actual 2-inch long pocket knife. That was allowed. I was not allowed with the Vulp.
Wow.
Because of just the size of it. The security guard said, oh, hell no. And I showed, this is not a blade. He's like, nope, no chance. Sorry, bud. Good flip, like, cause I did a standard close so I had it open to show him, and then I just did a standard close. He's like, it looks cool, but no, hell no. Sorry.
Wow.
So that, I think, is going to keep a cap on some level on how much the community can actually grow, considering how many states within the US they're illegal, how many places in primarily Europe they are like fully illegal in like every way. Even trainers are almost impossible to get. So yeah. So future, I think the future is bright, and there's so many. Wow.
You are so effed up right now, dude.
Let me do the trick. No, I'm not drunk. I'm just stepping.
No, I mean you're effed up and like you're getting hiccups.
I have the trick.
You're all hicked up.
You hold your hand right here.
Oh.
This is gonna be the real test, and then you deeply swallow. So
whoa, what the? There's no way this works. What the frick is this? This is some weird stuff. What is this? Do you just deeply swallow every time it happens?
Swallow. No, you just do it a bunch.
Oh.
You just fake swallow.
Whoa.
Yeah, they're gone.
Weird.
You hold right here. For some reason, I don't know why.
Weird.
I think it's because like you're focusing on it or something, but yeah, the deep swallowing, yeah, they're gone.
Wow. Okay.
That's how to get rid of hiccups.
Okay, good to know. For me, I think you're right, but also I think that as the future progresses, I think we will hopefully see a shift in the actual perception of Balisongs in culture, because as more and more people get into it, you have more and more children getting into it, and then their parents are seeing their children get into it and seeing their kid go like, oh no, mom, it's like a cool toy.
Yeah.
And then their parents start to get it, and then more adults start to get it, and then they bring that to their workplace or whatever.
Yeah.
And so as
if it's perceived more as a skill toy.
Exactly.
A toy. Because as much as that hurts to hear, at the end of the day,
it's a toy. No, it's 100% a toy.
It's a toy. A toy with a knife. But there's ultimately, I even talked to Dalen from Machine Wise about this, and he guesstimated that probably 99.8% of the people that buy his knives don't ever do anything with it but open boxes.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah. I think that's fair. In terms of having like a real, actual good knife, at the end of the day, a Balisong is not an actually good, dedicated knife.
Yeah, you can buy a pocket knife that'll be way better.
That'll be way better.
Anyways, so I just think it's about perception to some degree, and I think that the cap of the Balisong community will grow as more people are aware of it. And that's why I think content like what we produce and what other people produce is extremely important, because getting that content out there and having people see all of these different content creators making stuff that shows the Balisong for what it is as a very cool hobby, and less of as a scary knife in the movies that we've been taught about. That's, I think, where the difference is gonna lie.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see here. If Black Rose asks, what is your one go-to Balisong every day, no questions asked?
The first one that popped in my head was Cracker-Ackin.
Cracker-Ackin, I agree with that. I think that's a great choice.
Issue with that is this is a live blade, so I can't take this everywhere comfortably.
That's true.
In terms of like if I wanted to just go and casually like go to the store and flip a Balisong, I'm not going to be flipping a live blade Balisong in the middle of Aldi.
I think that's true. I don't know if I'd flip any Balisong in a place like that though. Is the thing, at least currently. Yeah. So I think it's more about just like what would you be your go-to to bring anywhere with you? What's your Balisong that you grab the most often?
Lately, it's been the Vulp.
Yeah, that's also true for me.
That's kind of it for testing reasons.
Yes.
In a way, but no, I have very much been enjoying the Vulp. I've been enjoying the Prisma. But if I had to pick up any of them and go, it's currently at my apartment, but my OG Nautilus is probably the one that I pick up the most. Just like, okay, I want to take something. I'm on my way out. I want to pick something up. You know what? Nautilus.
Yeah.
Just because that one, it looks like a toy at the end of the day.
Man, it's hard for me to pick what I would call my go-to everyday Balisong. For a long time, it was my Cracker-Ackin. This one specifically. I mean, I've put this thing through hell and back. And I love it very much. And I still use it all the time as one of my go-tos. Like, it is genuinely such a good Balisong. But currently, it's between these three, which is my Seraph, my Tsunami, and my Alien. It's usually one of these three.
Yeah. Those are the ones I see you with the most.
Yeah.
I see you with the Seraph a lot.
The Seraph a lot.
The Tsunami recently as well.
I've been taking the Tsunami places all the time, and then my Alien. And so between those three, those are easily, any one of those would be the one that I could like live with for the rest of my life if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Okay. Vex says, least favorite knife that's considered good by many, aka ultimate Balisong hot take.
I have at no point ever liked your Monarch.
Okay, the Monarch.
Yeah.
Where's my Monarch?
I think your Monarch might still be
maybe it's still
back
in there.
in the other room.
Oh, good.
I can't. I still haven't flipped a proper replicant before.
That might be my answer, actually. I don't really like the replicant a whole lot. It's fine. It works fine. It's just not great, in my opinion.
Even when this was at its best, I never really enjoyed this. So.
And it is not at its best anymore.
I think both of our opinions, though, is the overwhelming majority of Balisongs are at least fine.
Yeah. There's a lot of good-ish Balisongs.
Like anybody that says, like, oh, this thing is absolute trash because the balance isn't to my preference. What? Like the Kraken Trainer gets a ton of hate from a shocking number of people, and it just doesn't make sense to me.
It just doesn't make sense.
But people that will claim it's absolute trash, don't ever touch it.
It's not, that's not how it works.
What? But yeah, so yeah, maybe the Monarch, that's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah. Quapflip says, there's the who in the community inspires you to flip. We already did that. Stately says, approximately what do you think the full price of your collection is, including the price of the ones that were sent to you? Oh, Jesus Christ, I have no idea. I could do the math. Idea.
I could do the math.
For yours or mine? You know what?
For the future, I will remember, I'll remember to do this. I will do the math on my collection.
Okay.
And I will send it to you. And I will probably at most post it as a comment because this is going to be a huge video and I don't want you to have to find this specific segment, or I'll find the specific segment and then send it to you in the footage, but I'll find it. It's at least $2,000 for me.
I hate to say this, but with the fact that I own more than 40 Balisongs, it's at least $25,000.
Yeah.
At least $25,000.
Especially if you factor in not what you paid, but what it's worth now.
And the ones that were sent to me. Yeah. It's at least $25,000, which is insane. I don't think that I could get that much money for selling the whole thing, but it's definitely up there price-wise. Okay, Donkulus Taylor asks, would you ever want to start over in flipping and reteach yourself a different flow? That is a great question.
I would say I don't have that desire because I don't even have a flow yet.
Aha.
So, still getting there.
Yeah. For me, I think, honestly, I'm really happy with my current flow. I kind of pursued a style that I found interesting to me, and I still pursue things that I find interesting to me. I like to watch people do experimental stuff on Instagram all the time, and then I'll try to integrate that into my own flow or style. So honestly, I wouldn't reteach myself from the beginning, but I do adapt my style all the time based off of things I see. For instance, a great example of that is the thing I learned from Lucas, which is the pinky grab. So the helix aerial into pinky grab. Let's see if I can do it with this like very small space here. There we go. Yeah. That I learned because I saw Lucas do it at Blade Show in 2020, 2019?
Probably 2020 didn't happen.
Yeah, 2019 I think. Or no, because it wouldn't have been 21. Did we shoot 2021?
We shot 2021.
Okay, no, it was 2021. Yeah, sorry, brains everywhere. Yeah, but I learned that because of Lucas doing that in Blade Show 2021. So, you know, I don't know, it's cool.
I learned this cool trick recently that I don't think anybody's ever done, but you like spin it on your finger and then you launch it into your friend's eye socket.
Okay. Oh, here's a good question. .exe asks, the Balisong market seems to have very high demand and very low supply, yet most producers seem resistant to having prices above a certain point. Do you think or have any guesses as to why this is? It seems to be an anomaly of the free market. That is a good question, and I have a very significant theory on that. That has to do with capitalistic theory. You see, the idea of the free market has to do primarily with the idea of businesses being the entities that inhabit the free market. But what makes up most of the Balisong makers, Brandon?
It's mostly individual people.
It's mostly individual people, not businesses.
Yeah.
Therefore, most of these individuals aren't necessarily profit driven, they are passion driven.
Yeah.
And so they're driven to create things that they're passionate about, be it Balisongs or Balisong accessories and Balisong videos. And so I think that even though technically the free market exists, boiling down the actual motives of individuals into an economic framework almost never works. It's a really bad way to go about living your life, just trying to shove everything into an economic framework. And so all of these people are existing really outside of the free market. They're just doing things of their own accord. And so it comes down to personal pride or whatever that keeps someone keeping a price at a certain point instead of charging more. Maybe they don't feel it's worth it. Maybe they don't feel that they want to. Maybe they just want it to be accessible like Dalen does.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, I think it comes down to the fact that most of these Balisong companies really are just one person and not a large corporate entity that is driven by profits from their shareholders. Instead, it's just a dude. So that's the difference, in my opinion. Thriplety asks, what are your favorite color schemes outside of the main orange, black, and red? Boop.
Purple and black.
Purple and black. Well, Brandon, what if I said purple and blue and black?
Oh, you mean, I could do that with the
Por qué no los tres?
I could.
Grab your
Give me-
wavy boy.
What?
Your three, yep. Yeah. Got that, and then you add the blue in there, and like, you swap a handle on these things. You know what I'm saying?
Do you have your Torx bits?
I do have my Torx bits.
Should I do offset?
Oh, this one's for you.
Should I do off, but like mismatched, or should I do one handle on one and one on the other?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. That's up to you and your yeah.
Well, for the sake of time.
Yeah, let's not do it right now, but let's.
No, I want to do it right now. I'll send a photo.
But yes, personally, for me, purple and blue is absolutely one of my second favorite color schemes, and I love the way that is made in blurple on titanium.
Yeah.
So the blurple anodization on this guy is an absolute favorite of mine. I love the way that looks. Okay, someone asks, oh, this is Malv. Malv asks, what is your favorite anime/manga?
You are much more in the anime/manga world than I am.
Yes, I am. My favorite is Made in Abyss, which is a fantastic anime manga series.
Mine is also Made in Abyss,
yes.
which will
I got Brandon into
lied
Made in
to
Abyss.
me.
You're welcome.
To get me into, but it was totally worth it. Yeah, Made in Abyss is an incredible anime.
Made in Abyss is so good. There's a second season out now.
Yeah.
Very cool. Other incredible anime are Mob Psycho 100. That is absolutely at the top of my list. Love Mob Psycho 100. Kill la Kill. Avatar.
Avatar is my very, 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 very close second.
Everybody has come together to agree that Avatar is anime. So Avatar. There's a lot of really good anime out there, and manga as well. There's a lot of good ones. Gleipnir is a very good manga that I also enjoy. But lots of good stuff. But Made in Abyss is at the top of that. Okay, Sarah asks, what are your thoughts on the unintentional impact of prodigies in the community? Blankermane, Jelly, etc., and the skewing of outsider perception of the time it takes to progress in this skill. I've seen quite a few people who have been interested in the community but backed out because I'll never be as good as X in a year, so what's the point? That's a very good question.
It kind of touches on what I had mentioned earlier about how, like, with the top tier flippers, how, like, that's ultimately a very small segment of the community.
Yes.
So I don't know. I feel like it can kind of be a double-edged sword. I feel like the number of people that see, oh, I can never do that, is probably lower than the number of people that are like, oh, I want to do that.
Sure.
I'm gonna get into it because I want to get into that. But I think having some form of figurehead in some way is good. Somebody that people can look at and draw inspiration from is good. but it's definitely, like, we see this a lot just within the artistic communities in general, where people are just like, oh, you can do that thing. You're just really talented.
Yeah.
I wish I had been graced by God and been able to do that.
With
when
that
the reality
level of
is, yeah, there's a little bit of talent there, but most of it is a crap ton of exceptionally hard work.
Yep.
And time put into that crap, like making that craft and getting really, really good at that thing.
Yep.
So yeah, there's definitely a perception perhaps that like, oh, I've been flipping for X amount of time, I should be this good. When in reality, like, I'm ultimately not that fast of a learner.
Yep.
I'm just not. It takes me a lot of time to learn things, especially with my hands. I'm just not very good with hand dexterity kind of things. Will tries to teach me tricks all the time that on paper should be really easy for me to learn because I know everything around that trick, but ultimately it just takes me forever to learn it, and I just have to beat myself over the head with it over and over and over until it eventually clicks.
But that's how practice works.
Yeah.
And I think, here's the other thing, right? The people with this mindset of, oh, I'll never be as good as X in a year, so what's the point? That's just kind of going about flipping with the wrong mindset. And I think that's for two reasons. One of them is personal reasons, obviously. Somebody might just be a competitive person, and so they see this and they're like, oh, well, what's the point? And then that's that for them.
Yeah.
But I think the other thing is actually there's a bit of a competitive nature within the Balisong community that I think doesn't need to exist.
Yeah.
And that's why I really stress that the Balisong community become more similar to flow arts. With things like cardistry and kendama and yo-yo and all of those fun things, because the people in those communities really like to share in their art form.
Yeah.
They really like to show one another about this trick they created or this thing they're doing, and it's a very collaborative space. Nobody's trying to be better than each other. Everybody's trying to make the entire hobby and the entire art form move forward.
Yeah.
And honestly, that is what has happened with Balisong. I just think that there is a twinge of competitiveness, partially created by BaliComp at Blade Show, which isn't a bad thing. I think it's cool. But that's why I think that a moving away from something like a competition and more into something like a showcase at something like a skill toy convention could be very cool.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, the Balisong community is not a contest. It's a art community where we're all working together to advance this art form as much as possible. And so there are no winners or losers, and it doesn't matter how long you take to flip. And honestly, all of the people who comment on other people's stuff and be like, oh man, you suck, or anything like that.
Screw those people.
Yeah, screw those people.
Fuck you.
You know, absolutely
Respectfully, fuck you. If somebody's getting better at something and taking the time to do it and share that with the world and trying to improve.
You want to know a great example of this? Flipper was a dolphin.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People, for some reason or another, Flipper Was a Dolphin is an incredible Balisong flipper. I should have said their name earlier when I was talking about people that inspired me. Flipper Was a Dolphin is an incredible Balisong flipper who does some of the most interesting, sort of weird stuff.
Yeah.
The most interesting concepts that I've ever seen done that's like just so cool and wild and interesting. I don't know. And his style looks very slow and weird and strange, and it doesn't look good.
We haven't reacted
to some people. No, we need to.
Yeah. Add that to the Will Reacts.
Definitely. But like the thing is, I know there was a weird controversy because I think it was Balisong Flipping made a video talking about how bad Flipper Was a Dolphin is at flipping. Like one of his videos was like, oh man, Flipper Was a Dolphin is a terrible flipper. He was like talking about like his Instagram and how he found it and how he like just didn't like it. And that is just sad. So what I'm getting at is... That person does,
of course, like to tell his audience that he's smarter than them and better than them.
That's true.
Is its own
can of worms.
Not exactly the most objective opinion.
Yeah.
But yes, but that
you
kind of
get
stuff
what I'm getting
is
at.
stupid.
It's really toxic and it's really sad, especially when people like Flipper Was a Dolphin are genuinely pushing the art form forward in ways that nobody else is doing. Like this whole concept of like grabbing the blade and then like pulling it through like that, like that's something that Flipper Was a Dolphin basically created as an idea and a style for like grabbing the blade and doing weird stuff with it, like letting it kind of melt through your hands and whatnot and like going into weird different grips and positions. That's all stuff that he kind of created, and then people adopted it into even more insane styles. And so Yeah, don't listen to people when they say that you're not as good as somebody or that your style is weird or whatever. You should just do whatever makes you happy and whatever interests you, because that will advance the community far more than flipper number, 11 million that can do the behind the 8 ball really fast.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
Yep.
What advice? I guess that goes into what advice from Gory Kills.
Gory Kills.
What advice would you have for beginner flippers? Like top 5 tips and tricks?
That's a good question. I think the advice that I would give beginner Balisong flippers is get into the community if you can. Look around on Instagram and Reddit and see what people are doing, what people are into. Find yourself a nice starter Balisong. Currently, I think the best options are pretty much the Vulp and the Morse from Nabali's. Those are great options. Or you could get yourself something like a Squiddy, especially for kids who don't have a lot of options. A Squiddy or a Tay flipper are some of the best things you can go with if you want something that's like genuinely harmless.
Even a Mako.
Even a Mako. Mako's great. It's got a shark face. But either way, all of this is to say, get something and just practice and watch people that inspire you and try to do what they do. That's everything I did to get to this point, is I just imitated people, dude. I watched people on YouTube that I really loved and I imitated what they were doing. I watched flippers that I really loved and I imitated what they were doing. I watched dancers I loved and I imitated what they were doing. And it is what taught me a lot of what I know now, is just finding things and being inspired by them and then learning from them and imitating them. It's flattering and it's a great process. Yeah. So yeah, definitely that's what I would say, is just find things you're passionate about and imitate them and you'll do well. There's a ton of Balisong tutorials that are available now. Balitorial on Instagram has a massive backlog. Big Flip still has every video he's ever created and they're all pretty dang good tutorials.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know, there's a lot out there.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. Sen asks, when will you guys do a Brandon clone giveaway?
We did one.
We did. That's actually right. Yes,
Yeah,
we did a Brandon clone giveaway. That was yesterday.
Yes, yeah, the whole entire time we've had a YouTube presence in some way. We've also had a MySpace page.
Yeah, so we made the MySpace page. I actually made the MySpace page before the YouTube. We never posted anything there, but it has existed the entire time. Yeah. And yesterday,
nobody ever found it.
Yeah, nobody ever found it. But yesterday we put a link, because there was a Brandon clone giveaway yesterday, and then we deleted the whole MySpace page. Yeah, it's gone. Yeah. So we deleted the MySpace page. It's gone forever. You can't find it on the Wayback Machine. I sent them a letter. They deleted it there. Yeah. So
I have nowhere to put them.
Yeah, but we did. So,
why don't you follow us
on MySpace? All right, Flippy Flipperston asks, how many 4th graders could you and Brandon beat in a fight simultaneously unarmed? The unarmed is very important, I think.
6.
That's a lot of 4th grade. How big is
100.
Oh.
No, 4th graders, a 4th grader, a trained but unarmed 4th grader could do a lot of damage.
They're trained now.
No, but like speaking, like there's potential for a 4th grader to be able to be very effective.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
A 4th grader could do some damage.
I think Daddy Daycare taught me that.
Probably, yeah. Daddy Daycare, the symbol of America. No, I don't know. Maybe 6.
That feels like
depends
a
on
lot.
what I have, but unarmed, like, cause I just have to get a solid punch. Could maybe take 2 down with 1 punch, and then maybe a kick and a kick. So actually 6.
I'm gonna say 4 for me, probably. 4th graders are larger than you would expect.
Yeah, and I got some heft. I got some.
Yeah.
I'll just squirt my milk.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
No, that would get me registered as a sex offender.
That's right, Brandon.
But if they were attacking me, no.
I don't think that's how that works either.
Okay.
If that many 4th graders are attacking you, you probably deserve it. Let's be clear. Okay. All right, so Degenerated Nahetai Enjayer, it's a weird name, asked, this is from YouTube, what type of people are the most Balisong flippers like? I.e., many Balisong flippers are more extroverted or whatever. it would be interesting to hear what you think, as you know many people in the community. That is true. I think I've talked about this a little bit before on my second channel. I find Balisong flippers to be the kind of people, I don't know, I think the Balisong flipping crowd draws a different crowd than you would imagine.
Yeah.
Because I think you look at it and you're like, oh, it's a knife hobby, and so you expect knife people to be into it. So you expect like, you know, like hillbilly kind of people, or people who are just like old white dudes, military, old white dudes who are just into collecting knives or whatever.
People in like urban environments, perhaps. Yeah.
But instead, what you find is a surprisingly diverse community of people where you have, I mean, so many different representations. Within our Discord server, people that we saw at Blade Show, you have people on the autism spectrum, you have people in the LGBTQ community, gay people, lesbians, trans people, people with ADHD, people with so many different things, so many different walks of life, people of color. It's really cool. The Balisong community is shockingly diverse. And I think it's because the one thread that actually connects us all together is that we like to play with fun, flippy, spinny toys.
Yes, yeah.
And so as long as
in recent years, they've gotten a lot more colorful.
Yeah, and so as long as the fun, flippy, spinny toy gives your brain the good juices, you're gonna be in the community. And so
we all have a bit of goblin brain in us at the end of the day.
We got a little bit of goblin brain in there, and you know what? That's great. And so that's why the Balisong community is much more inviting to all sorts of people, especially those that consider themselves to be in minority groups. I think it just provides a really shockingly inviting and cool space to be a part of. And that's what I find to be so cool about the community in general. I love it here. It's so cool. We're cool.
We're cool. Yeah, the person that asked the question specifically mentioned like extroverted people. I would say you're an extrovert.
I'm an extrovert, yeah.
I am an introvert that has kind of been forced to be good at being extroverted, but I am at the end of the day an introvert. But I think probably the most, like especially talking to people at Blade Show, I feel most people that attend a thing like Blade Show are ultimately pretty introverted people.
Yeah.
That can be extroverted.
That's fair.
But I think, you know, especially with the Balisong community being small, there's not like a whole lot that you can like crowd to necessarily.
Yeah.
Like we were talking earlier today about like you for the first time ever, like in the last week, saw somebody flipping a Balisong.
Yeah.
That it wasn't related to being at a convention or a Balisong flipper specific thing.
Yeah.
It was just a person that was
in the
on a
wild,
set.
just doing
I've never seen a Balisong flipper out in the wild ever. So it's ultimately a small community, and I think that kind of means it's kind of people that like are looking for a small community to get involved with, which means they're ultimately pretty introverted people.
Yeah, well, and something that's kind of interesting is the people that have been in the Balisong community for a very long time, some of the oldest members of the Balisong community are also more knife community people. I'd say that they're not fully, the same as the knife community people, but they're closer. Whereas a lot of the newest faces in the Balisong community, they're all drawn in by one thing, and that's flipping. Flipping didn't really develop until around 2014, 2015 into an actual art form that we have today. It was completely different before that period. And so I think it's very interesting how flipping is now and like what that's done for bringing people into this hobby. And so at the end of the day, as I said, the one thread that connects us all is our goblin brain likes it when the fun thing does the flippy spin.
And it I like how it
clack. Yep, and it does the clack. And so like, as long as that one thread is the thing that connects all of us, honestly, I think we'll all get along really well because like, if you like that much, you're gonna like the rest of it. You're gonna probably get along with all these people because they're all doing this thing simply because it's the action they love, not necessarily the ramifications of what that object is. And so it's more about the fun you can have with the object, and I think that affects the people that are interested in it, rather than the utility of that object. If we were all interested in the utility and how good it cuts and everything like that, then I think we would have a different culture. But truthfully, most people are interested in how the flippy spin go woo. So, that's just how it is.
Okay, so one final thing that we wanted to talk about. We have questions all the time about when are you going to review this? When are you going to do this? When are you going to do this? Talk about this, talk about this, talk about this, which is all great. But we actually wanted to talk about some of the upcoming things that we will potentially have. At this point, the Prisma review should be live and well, and that's a very, very good one, so go check that out. The Prisma is an absolute game-changing Balisong, so definitely check that out. Earlier today, which Will is pulling out right now, earlier today we shot the first part of what is going to be a Max Ace featurette.
Yes, with 3 different Max Ace Balisongs being reviewed at the same time, so that's exciting. Also, we have coming up, this, I know people have asked a lot about this. This is the Lucha, the carbon fiber and titanium version. It is pretty neat. So we'll talk about that. That's part of it. The Vulp, obviously, we have videos coming, so, you know.
Yeah, not necessarily a review, but a featurette of the Vulp and kind of the history of it and where it's going. But we do have plans for the Vulp.
Yep.
Will just in the last couple days got his Bite Blades Titan, which I also have that I didn't know if we were going to review because you hadn't gotten it.
I just hadn't made an orange one yet.
Yeah. But no, this is another really, really interesting Balisong with very long handles.
Yep.
And then one that we don't have that I need to actually get confirmation about, but I've talked to Lucas several times about getting a swordfish.
Yep, want to do a swordfish review.
So those are all the ones currently like we are definitely going to review, except for the Medusa, Fellowship Blades Medusa, Grant, Fellowship Blades. Sent this because he just really likes our stuff.
Yep.
And he just sent it for free. He didn't ask us to review it, but it's a really, really interesting thing with
definitely
one of the craziest blades I've ever seen on a Balisong.
Yep.
And it's very, very fun. So those are all the ones that we have dedicated plans for. There's been a lot of questions about Marcolo. That is its own can of worms that we don't know that we're going to dive into because there is some
clone controversy there.
And we don't like to support cloning in really any capacity.
No.
And Marcolo is dipping a little too close to that whole thing. So we know all about the C116 from Marcolo and several other ones that they've made, but we don't have any firm plans to cover them in an official review capacity.
Also, outside the scope of the Max Ace review we already recorded, I do also have a plan to do an Obsidian review.
Yep.
So it'll be a fuller review of the Max Ace Obsidian because I think it's just a really interesting Balisong, and so we'll talk about that too.
Yeah, the Max Ace featurette is the most current upcoming video. All the other ones, don't expect those for
a minute.
But those are the ones that we currently have plans to review and have already talked about. And I should actually probably borrow this for X amount of time because my first impression was. But yeah, so we don't really do that a lot. We don't really disclose what upcoming stuff we have a lot. But yeah.
It's nice to get to do
for 100,000 subscribers, we might as well.
Yep.
It'll be interesting looking back at this video and be like, oh my gosh, that's what we were reviewing, or we hadn't even talked about that yet.
Yeah, that'll be weird.
The swordfish, I'm very excited for.
Same.
Very excited for sure. That's probably the one I'm most excited for because I want to see if it's actually durable.
Yeah.
Or apparently, according to Lucas, it is. But yeah, I think that's everything.
I think that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been honestly really cool. Also, thank you all for subscribing. I mean, especially if you watched to this point, then you're in it. Holy cow. So thank you so much. This has seriously been just the most amazing experience for us. I don't think either of us could have ever dreamed to get to this point where the stuff we're doing through YouTube is actually genuinely something that we can say is a job now. And that is crazy.
A job that we enjoy.
Genuinely enjoy. Yeah.
If not love.
I never thought that I would get to this point.
Yeah. So despite all the hurdles that we've had to go through and even the struggles of just essentially at this point running a business with your best friend.
Yeah.
There's a lot of complexities that come into that. And there's been a lot of various different struggles, different hurdles to get over. But we're chugging along and we're gonna keep doing the best that we can with everything. And yeah, it is genuinely surreal. that we have the community that we do. Because at the end of the day, we're just two dudes.
Yep.
One straight, one gay. And together we create...
Taking on the world.
Gate.
There we go. We create Will Hirsch.
We've been filming for 3 hours. What do you
We've
want
been filming for a very long time. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you to our patrons for submitting all of these questions. You guys really are the best. Your support means the world to us. The fact, what gets me and what touched my heart not too long ago was going back through our patron history and seeing there's like 4 or 5 people that have literally been supporting us since we first created a Patreon. And that is so cool.
Day one.
Oh my God.
And we're over 2 years in.
Yeah.
To Patreon.
And that is crazy. So thank you guys so much, especially those of you that have stuck around for such a long period of time. And anybody that comes in and decides to, support us with any amount of money. That's really, 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 really nice of you. And we can't possibly express our gratitude enough. So thank you guys, seriously. And I think that's pretty much it for this one.
I think that I have no energy for an end game.
Yeah, we're not gonna do an end game.
Okay, I do have one final thing that we have to see.
Okay.
Somebody asked, how many Balisongs can I fit in my mouth?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And I just want to guesstimate. I'm gonna guess also 6.
All right, let me put things into your, that aren't gonna hurt you. I'm taking away the sharp parts. These are less sharp things. I'm not gonna get you more than that. Yep. You could go on the sides. Oh my God. This is really impressive. This, yeah. Not taking you to the hospital after this. Where is there space? When will you learn? 7? There is not a way. There's no chance in this world. Oh, that one. No, that one's worse. No, don't do that one. It's got the little Sharpie bits. Maybe the Morse? Is that not small enough? Oh, Jesus, that's not going in there. You're gonna have to go left. Go left on the left side, yeah. Can you, yeah. 8. Okay, the world record is 7. This is official. This is a real world record now.
7.
The world record is now 7. Your move.
7. Your move.